attorney.
I think it's 14.
Did they say that they're gonna do it this morning?
Yeah.
County BOP state elected.
Say again?
I just have this.
Yeah, that's all there is.
Good morning. It's a little blurry. Getting it. Can y'all hear me over there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. It's a little blurry. Or I just don't have my glasses on. I can't put my glasses on if I have a mask on. It's one or the other. So we do have a couple Spanish interpreter cases, unless we do have what you said, Boatwright?
That's right. Joseph Boatwright. For the record, my name is Matt Ferry, and my firm will be representing Mr. Boatwright.
And Mr. Boatwright's not coming over, Ms.
Correct, Your
Taylor,
Honor.
correct? Okay, so we'll handle that quickly. All right, so Mr. Ferry, and you filed a notice of appearance
We
or
will be.
intending to do so?
Yes, we will be
Okay,
shortly.
all right, and so Mr. Boatwright was arrested in 2020, scan this in, 2020. Well, first, it is July 17th, 2020. This is Judge Wish, courtroom 1, BRC into BRC 2 by video. And can I just have the parties announce themselves for the record?
Kathy Kennedy Swanson on behalf of the Office of State Attorney.
Pedro Matos for the public defender.
Okay, now that we've got that out of the way. All right, so Mr. Boatwright's represented by Mr. Ferry, 2020 CF 843780. He was arrested pursuant to a warrant. Probable cause was found for false imprisonment, domestic violence, battery, domestic violence, and tampering with a witness to hinder communication to law enforcement. And Mr. Ferry, there's no witnesses present today.
Your Honor, just for the record, the victim was present, but because of the defendant's information, she was not allowed to stay in the building. So I had a chance to speak to her. Her and her mother were downstairs this morning.
Why wasn't she allowed to come on?
Because of his test results, I didn't make the decision, Your Honor. I just happened to be coming through the door.
Oh, I see. Okay.
At the same time.
Okay,
So that's the staff of the jail.
I get it.
She said she wanted no contact with the defendant. She wanted to maintain separate residence, no weapons. She said she had gone to the courthouse to get an injunction against the defendant. I don't know. I didn't have a chance to look that up to see if it's, but she was definitely fearful of the defendant.
Okay, well, I am going to order no contact directly or indirectly with the victim in the case. And that no contact order will be presented to him to be signed, to be filed with the clerk's office. If you do have contact with him, Mr. Ferry, advise him of these conditions. He's to maintain a separate residence. He may return with law enforcement one time to get any personal belongings, no weapons, no firearms, no ammunition. If he has any weapons or firearms or any ammunition, he must surrender them to law enforcement within 6 hours of any release. And the warrant does also indicate no contact with any animals based on the facts as alleged in the affidavit. So I am going to maintain that order. So it will be no contact with any animals.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. She did request that he not be allowed to see their cats. I do apologize.
I'm sorry?
She did request that he not be allowed to see their
Okay,
cats.
well, no contact with animals, so that should suffice. And does he, I had a question as to the location of the scene. It's because the part of the warrant said no return to the scene. And I'm not sure about their addresses because of the, it's a warrant, so I don't necessarily have everybody's address. It says, okay, so basically the allegation was that he was living in Seminole County with his mom.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so he has no reason to go back to the victim's residence?
No, Your
Okay,
Honor.
So there'll be a no return to the scene as well. And, did you all discuss a bond?
Judge, I'm requesting a $500 bond on each count. My client's 21 years old, born and raised in Winter Park. He has, his mom and dad live locally in Central Florida. He has a job. I don't believe, I haven't check with the state, but I don't believe he has any significant criminal history whatsoever.
He has a conviction for cannabis and two cannabis and, I'm not out of state in Hawaii, but unable to obtain any information about anything in Hawaii. So, I will set the bond at 500 on each count. And anything further?
That's it.
Okay.
Have a great Friday.
Thanks, Mr. Ferry. You too. Have a great
Thank you.
weekend. All right, and then what was your client's name?
Tahada.
They had to go get him? Okay, so we're gonna do the, we gotta do the Spanish and
We
then,
can ask Mr. Williams if she up there, I don't know.
okay. What was the name?
Tejada.
Tanado?
Tahada.
Tejada?
Oh, Jennifer,
Jennifer Tahada.
Do we have Jennifer Tejada at all? Officer Williams?
Well, they went to go get her, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. So we'll do the interpreter cases.
Good morning, Your Honor. Can you hear me?
I can. Good morning.
Good morning. This is Flavia Rodriguez, the certified court interpreter, not sworn in today.
Okay, can you raise your right hand to be sworn in? Do you swear to testify, or excuse me, to translate from English to Spanish and Spanish to English to the best of your ability?
I do to the best of my ability. Flavia Rodriguez, the certified court interpreter.
All right, thank you. And you're going into BRC courtroom 2.
Your Honor, I'm connected, and the defendant has indicated that he can hear me.
Excellent. All right, good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name, please?
Jaime Colon Rodriguez.
All right, Mr. Colon Rodriguez, you're here in case number 2020 CF 8587AO. You were arrested for battery by strangulation, domestic violence, 2 counts of tampering with a witness to hinder communication to law enforcement, and 2 counts of domestic violence battery. And I do find probable cause for those offenses, and I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you in your case. Do we have any witnesses present for Mr. Colon Rodriguez? Nope, okay. All right, sir, I'm gonna order that you have no contact directly or indirectly with either one of the victims in the case. And I'll have you sign the no contact order. Do you understand everything on that form, sir?
No.
Okay, what do you not understand?
Lo que no entiendo es, no entiendo porque estoy bien confuso y yo soy una persona deshabilitada. Ahora mismo no tengo necesidad de estar preso. O sea, no tengo por qué firmar esto, de verdad. Ahora mismo
Well, I do not understand. I am actually confused. I am a disabled person, and I don't see a need for me to be in jail, and I don't see why I have to sign this document.
Okay, the document is my order, ordering that you have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim. That can be changed by a judge at a later date in writing. A motion would have to be filed with a judge who is assigned to your case downtown, Division 16. But because there's no victims or witnesses present here to testify that they want contact with you, I have to order that there's no contact. You've been arrested. The state has not formally charged you. And that's something that you can discuss with your attorney. You're going to get all of that information. But the no contact order has to do with the conditions of release. So, did you read the no contact order?
sí, es que yo uso espejuelos, bendito, y lamentablemente entiendo muy poquito porque no veo bien. Eso es lo que quiero tratar de decir también.
Well, the thing is, I need reading glasses, and I can understand only a little of what it says because I don't have my glasses. I also wanted to say that.
Okay, well, I'm ordering that you have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim. That means you cannot text, phone, email, send letters, send notes, have a third party communicate with the victims in any way. You may not go within 500 feet of the victim's residence. And do you have children in common, sir?
Sí, yo tengo dos hijas ya grandes, 24 años y 20.
Yes, I have two daughters. They are 24 and 20.
Okay, so they're adults, so you can have contact with your daughters, and that part of the no contact order would not apply to you. But everything that I just explained to you, do you understand that?
Sí, la entendí.
Yes, I understood it.
Okay, you're also to maintain a separate residence, so if the victims are located or living at the residence, you may not return there. You may only go one time with law enforcement to get any personal belongings that you may need from the residence. If the victims are not living at the residence, you may live there. You're not to possess weapons or firearms or any ammunition. I am going to place you on pretrial release. You'll be released today. I do want to add, if you have any weapons or firearms, including any knives or guns, then you must surrender them to law enforcement within 6 hours of release from the Orange County Jail. Do you understand all of that, sir?
Sí, voy a ser puesto en libertad. ¿Usted me está diciendo?
Yes, and you're saying that I'm getting out. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying, but you must follow all of those conditions of release. If you violate, you can be held at no bond, sir.
Ok, muchas gracias, de verdad, por la ayuda. Es que no-
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for all the help. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name, please?
Yes, Jaime Bandaguilar.
All right, sir, you're here in case number 2015 CT 925 AW. And this is a violation of probation warrant. And the judge did set your bond at none. This is an older case, 2015. The warrant was signed by Judge Adams. Well, he has an ICE hold. I mean, even if I gave him a bond on a 2015 case, he does have the immigration hold. So I'm going to appoint the public defender. Do you want to, Mr. Matos, do you want to do the arraignment today, get him on the docket, and your office can file a bond motion for him, and then once that immigration detainer is lifted, he may be able to get out?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So I am going to do the arraignment today. We'll enter I'm trying to figure out. Okay, so it's that you've committed the offense of a no valid driver's license on August 15th, 2015, and that you failed to pay $50 a month, costed supervision for the months of August 2015, and you're currently $50 in arrears.
I mean,
So
if he wants to resolve the VOP,
but it's an immigration issue,
Yeah,
so
it's
I don't know if
immigration.
he'll want to do that today, or if that's in his best interest. That's my only. I do
Okay.
see that there was an offer, but I don't think he's had an opportunity to talk to anybody how that might affect him.
okay.
So I don't want to do anything today that might negatively affect him. So I am going to enter a denial, and we'll give you a date. That means you'll get put on the docket. We're going to give you the phone number for the public defender. You'll need to call them as soon as possible and find out who your attorney is. And you do have an immigration hold. Mr. Bandit Aguilar, so that's going to have to be lifted before any judge, if they did give you a bond, you would be able to be released, okay? So we'll give you a date.
BOP status will be August 24th at 9:30 a.m., courtroom 9B.
All right, so call the public defender, sir, okay? Mr. Matos, you may want to get in touch with somebody down there. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, good morning. Can you tell me your name, please?
Juan Camacho Moreno.
All right, Mr. Camacho Moreno, you're here in case number 2020 CF 8574AO. It's a possession of cocaine. And I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. And do you have a residence, Mr. Camacho? Do you have a place where you get your mail?
No. I'm living on the streets.
Okay, and there's nowhere where anybody can send you notice of any court dates? It's very important that they be able to give you notice of any court dates and that the public defender can get in touch with you. So there's nowhere where you get any mail.
No, I don't know how.
Okay. Mr. Camacho, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance. I'm going to order that you call the public defender's office within 24 hours of your release from the jail. Do you have a cell phone?
No.
Okay, you're going to have to find a way to call them so that they know how to get in touch with you, because if you don't show up to court for any court date in the future, you'll get a warrant. It'll probably be no bond. Do you understand?
I understand.
Okay, you don't want that to happen. Okay, so we'll put in there to get in touch with the PD within 24 hours, and you'll be released today, sir.
So when I get out, can I call them?
Yes. All right,
Okay,
good.
that's fine. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Morning.
That'd be all.
That's it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do we have Carreno Carrera?
He bonded.
Okay. We'll take no action. All right, and then Madam Interpreter, we do have some witnesses out in the gallery. If you could just make an announcement, if anybody needs the interpreter to please raise their hand.
Of course, Your Honor. Buenos días. En el área del público, si alguna de las personas que han venido a declarar como testigos necesitan el servicio del intérprete al español, por favor levante la mano.
Anybody raising their hand? No? Okay. Can I sign this after? Okay, because I don't know what this is. Okay. All right. Please hold on to it for me. Okay, thank you. All right, I don't see any hands raised, Madam Interpreter, and so thank you so much. You have a great weekend.
You're very welcome, Your Honor. Likewise. Thank you.
All right, thank you. How are you?
Good morning, Your Honor. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good, thank you. Do you want to just place your name on the?
Sure, Alexis Carter for Mr. Hott on 2018 CF 015838. I believe there's a companion 2016 VOP as well.
Okay, I may not I may just have to have I didn't even advise my JA, so, do we have can you tell me that case number?
2018-15838. AO is one case. And then tell me, and I'll give you the other case, Your Honor.
And so this is a violation of probation,
Yes, Your Honor.
and then the other case was
It's 2016
16?
CF 8087.
And Mr. Carter, are you filing a notice of appearance? Have you already done that?
I filed in the 2018 case, Your Honor. The 2016 will be forthcoming.
Okay. So it looks like this is a violation of community control in 2018 CF 15838AO. And
Your Honor, I'm sorry.
the other, she's got a court date coming up with Judge Whitehead on the 23rd on that case. So is that Monday or Tuesday?
On the
23rd is
2018
Thursday.
case?
On the 2018, she'll have a VOP arraignment with
Okay.
Judge Whitehead on the 23rd. That is in the system. And then in 16-8087, she's got also the violation of community control. And that was Judge O'Kane. And it looks like she also has on the same date and time, it's 9:30 a.m. So that will be 9A into courtroom 3. For the arraignments, the bonds are set at none at this time.
Your Honor, stated no objection to the court setting a bond.
I'm not gonna change their bonds, without them giving me their blessing to do that. Does she have an out on bond as well?
She's out on bond on a 2020 case, Your Honor, which was the new law violation.
Okay, so I'll take no action on that, because that's probably the basis for the VOP as you stated.
Okay, and you said this case is currently in front of, one is in front of Judge Whitehead?
It will, they'll, because they're both violations of community control, he will see them on the 23rd at 9:30 a.m. And he will be in courtroom 9A downtown, videoing into courtroom 3.
Your Honor, I just ask that you reconsider considering the circumstances. Ms. Tejada is a nursing mother to a 4-month-old baby boy who was recently released from the NICU and requires more than normal care. I have confirmation from her doctor that the baby requires ongoing attention, has multiple appointments due to his medical condition, which consists of seizures. She's never been a flight risk.
I don't have a face sheet for her. Is she a violent felony offender of special concern?
Negative.
Okay,
I have no failure to appear. Oh, on my face sheet.
thank you. My problem here is that I'm not inclined to change the bonds that were set at none by the judges who signed the warrants. I can promise you that if you get a motion filed today, that will be heard fairly quickly, maybe even before she sees Judge Whitehead. If the state agrees to that, then the judge may agree to give a bond without even a hearing. But I've had no contact with the judges who have signed the warrants, and they're not my cases. And so I'm
Understood, Your Honor.
yeah, I'm just not gonna do that today without their permission, as to the warrant, so. But if you get that motion filed today, or the state does not object and the court may grant her a bond today. You might be able to get that all done without a hearing.
Understood, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, Mr. Carter, I just,
I
don't,
understand.
yeah, I don't normally change the bonds. I understand the circumstances.
It was a
but-
leap of faith.
So, but she would be, she's not entitled to a bond, but she's not precluded from getting a bond because she's not a violent felony offender of special concern.
Understood. Thank you, Your
Okay.
Honor.
All
That's all I
right.
have before the court. May I be
Okay,
excused?
yes, and so, Ms. Tejada, you'll see Judge Whitehead in a couple days for your arraignment, but I'm sure Mr. Carter will get on filing a bond motion for you with the judges who signed those warrants, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good luck. All right, thank you, have a good weekend.
Thank you, you too, Your Honor.
All right, good morning, can you tell me your name, please?
Cannon?
Mr. Cannon?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Cannon, I think I did, yes. Okay, so I reset this case for today so that it didn't get lost in the shuffle. And what the judge who contacts the judges in the other county, they usually don't get that list for a 24-hour period. So they have indicated that they have added to the list, okay, to contact the judge, and they should be reaching out to the other county sometime today. So once we hear back from the other county, which could be a couple days, we will set it for a status hearing again, but you can bond out. You do have a bond. I can't appoint the PD because it's not a criminal case, but as you may have to contact counsel if you think that they might be able to contact the judge sooner than we can. But that's all I can really do for you today, is it's a writ, and I have no jurisdiction to change that writ unless I get permission from the judge in the other county.
She went down there this morning, my girl, to actually pay for it because they wouldn't let her pay it up here. She was up here last night trying to pay the purge,
Okay.
but they wouldn't let her pay it up here and told her she had to go back to Jacksonville. So she
Okay, I don't
went to the
know.
court this morning to pay it. So I should be
Okay.
getting a call
So you,
momentarily.
okay,
So, yeah.
good. So it sounds like you're working on it on your end, and
Yeah,
that's
she
great.
went this morning. So.
Okay, so you may get out today, if that in fact does go through in Jacksonville. But if not, I can assure you, you are on the list, and they will contact the judge, Judge Schur, I believe it was, in Duval County, okay? But that's all I can really do for you right now, okay?
All right, thank you.
All right. So we're not gonna reset anything. It'll be reset when they reach out if he hasn't bonded it.
Your Honor, the next person on the docket, Ray Dallin, is mental health.
Okay, Mr. Dolan is mental health, and so that's 2020 MM 5168 AO. I did reset this from yesterday. I did appoint the public defender yesterday. We thought maybe we would get an opportunity, but I don't think that's gonna happen. So do you want to waive, Mr. Matos?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so he's charged with petty theft, and I do find probable cause. And the PD was, as I stated previously, appointed. And he's not to return back to the Walmart at 2500 South Kirkman Road. No contact with any victims or witnesses in the case. All right, I am gonna ROR Mr. Delenn and order that he get in touch with the public defender's office within 24 hours of his release from the Orange County Jail. All right, good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name, please?
Call Bandy.
Sorry?
Call Bandy.
Okay, Mr. Bandy? Okay, you're here, is that correct? It's hard to hear you. You're talking real fast. Mr. Bandy?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. 2020 CF 8570AO, you were arrested for aggravated battery on a pregnant person. It's domestic violence. And I do find probable cause for that offense, and I'll appoint the public defender. We do have a witness present. Ma'am, can you raise your right hand to be sworn in?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you can put your hand down now.
Okay.
Can you state your name for me and then spell your last name?
Sycaria Treadway, Treadway.
All right. Miss Kennedy Swanson, did you want to inquire or?
Yes, Your Honor. Are you afraid of Mr. Bandy?
No, ma'am.
Would you like for him to have contact with you while this case is pending?
Yes, ma'am.
Were drugs or alcohol involved in this situation?
No, ma'am.
Has anything like this happened in the past?
No, ma'am.
If something happened in the future, would you feel comfortable in calling the police or 911?
Yes, ma'am.
If the defendant, if the defendant is released without having to post a bond, are you any concerned for your safety?
No, ma'am.
No further questions.
All right. Mr. Matos, any questions?
No questions from the defense, Your Honor.
Do you have a position on contact?
We'll leave in the court's discretion, Your Honor.
All right, so, Ms. Treadway, you're telling me that you're in absolute no fear of Mr. Bandy?
Yes, ma'am.
And
No
you're not-
fear of
And
him.
you're not in fear for your
We've been
unborn
together for
child?
3 years. We've never had an altercation like this. I was the aggressor, but yet they still arrested him.
Well, they did charge you with the state attorney's office.
Okay.
Okay, so they arrested him, but you're technically a co-defendant, I guess
Okay.
you could say.
Um,
And so the state will make a charging decision and probably contact him as well about the case.
I would also like
Are
to-
you in fear at all for your
No,
unborn
ma'am.
child?
No, ma'am. He is a wonderful father. I would also like to note that I am out of work, and he's the only one that's working. So, I'm sorry, I'm emotional.
Okay.
It's just something that should never happen. It wasn't no reason to call. I was just, at the moment, emotional, and I have bad anxiety, so I called.
Okay, all right.
But he's a wonderful father. We argue like any regular couple.
Okay. Well, when things get heated, maybe now we walk away, go take a walk,
We usually
get
do.
some
It was just
exercise, okay? Okay, so I am going to allow you to have non-hostile, non-violent contact, all right? So, Mr. Bandy, that means that you're not to get in her face, you're not to push her, punch her, hit her, scratch her, bite her, tug at anything on her, get, disrespectful to her, raise your voice at her, send mean text messages to her. Do you understand all of that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you're not to possess any weapons or firearms or any ammunition. And the Department of Children and Families was contacted. I don't know if they'll have an investigation or not, but you'll need to comply with any investigation. And you do qualify for pretrial release. So I'm going to place you on pretrial release. They'll call you if they have your number, or you can call them at 836-3400. Okay?
my phone is actually broke. They will have to call my mother's phone.
Okay, do you want to give me her number? I can give it to pretrial, and then
Yes,
they'll be able to
it's-
let you know when he's ready to get picked up.
Okay, it's 407-536-1147.
And then what's her name?
LaShonda Taylor.
All right. So, give that to the pretrial release officer, and they'll contact her when he's ready to get picked up. Otherwise, I don't know, you'll be probably waiting a little while, okay?
Okay.
So they'll process him. Did you understand everything that I told you, Mr. Bandy?
Yes, ma'am.
If you violate any of those conditions of release, or you get rearrested for anything, your release can be revoked and you can be held at no bond. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Good luck. Thank you. All right. Please tell me your name.
Andrew Bermudez.
All right, Mr. Bermudez, you're here in 2020 CF 8586AO. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant probable cause was found for battery on a person 65 years of age or older and battery domestic violence. And I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you in your case. Do we have any witnesses present? Nope. Okay. Mr. Bermudez, I am ordering that you have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim, and I'll have you sign the form. Do you understand everything on the form?
Yes.
Okay. You're also to maintain a separate residence, and you're not to return to the scene of where the offense is alleged to have occurred. So if you have any personal belongings at that residence, then you'll need to go with law enforcement to get them. You need to call them ahead of time. They'll tell you where to go. Do not go to the residence and wait, okay? You understand?
Yes.
Okay. No weapons or firearms or any ammunition. You do qualify for pretrial release. I am going to release you to pretrial release. Make sure you comply with those court orders as well as their conditions, or your release can be revoked, okay?
Okay.
All right. Good morning, sir. Please tell me your name.
My name is Akey Black, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Black.
If it's
I just want to, Mr. Black, I know you probably want to talk to me about a lot of things, but I'm going to tell you everything that you say can and probably will be used against you. So your best bet is to not talk about anything unless it's with your attorney, unless you have a question about the court proceeding itself. So you were arrested in 2020 CF 8190AO. And that was pursuant to a warrant. Probable cause was previously found for aggravated stalking, dating violence, tampering with a witness, is domestic violence, and then 5 counts of violation of pretrial release as to a dating violence case. And so I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you in that case. You already have a no contact order, but I'm going to have you sign another one. So I'm ordering again, no contact directly or indirectly with the victim in the case or the victim's family. So that means that you can't get any family or friends of yours to communicate with the victim or the victim's family. Do you understand?
yes, but I never got a copy of the police report. Is you reading that by any chance?
I've read the warrant. Yeah.
Well, the warrant don't say nothing. Like, can I get if is it possible that I can
Well,
get?
how do you know what the warrant says if you don't have a copy of it?
Yes, the warrant. The only thing the warrant say, Judge,
Right.
is that I was brought into custody.
Mr. Black.
Okay, so you can get a copy of that from your attorney, okay? So, the warrant delineates the factual basis for the charges. And probable cause was already found for that because it's a warrant, so I can't address any of the probable cause issues that you may raise. And so what I'm gonna do is, I did order the no contact, so again, that's with the victim's family and the victim, and then you cannot get any family or friends or anybody to communicate with the victim or the family members, okay?
But what making you say her family? I'm saying it must was a reason. It must was something stated.
Because that's what I'm ordering.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
Okay, so you can't go within 500 feet of the victim's residence. That's on the no contact order. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
You're to maintain a separate residence. You're not to possess or consume any alcohol or any illegal substances without a valid prescription. No weapons, no firearms, no ammunition. If you have any weapons or any firearms, you must surrender them to law enforcement within 6 hours of any release from the Orange County Jail. Your bond on count 1 is $5,000. Count 2 is $1,000, and counts 3 through 7 are $150. And I am revoking the releases in 2020 CF 1623AO and 2019 CF 16647AO. You do have the public defender. It looks like Ms. Chatting represents you in those cases, so she's gonna have to file a bond motion or whoever your attorney is in those cases, okay?
Okay, one thing, Judge, it ain't about the case. I'm just saying, far as the 5 counts of violation of pretrial release, can you explain more to me? What is that?
It means that you violated any of the conditions of release on the case that you were out on bond in.
And that mean I violated 5 different ways?
It means that they found 5 different instances in which you violated the no contact order.
Okay, and one thing, Judge, I had tons of evidence that exonerated me with the same issue.
You're gonna need to get that to your public defender.
It's already to her. She got
Okay, well,
everything.
you're gonna have to contact the public defender. I'm not your attorney, so that's what you're gonna have to do.
So when is
Mr.
my
Black.
next court date?
You don't have one.
Mr. Black, this is Pedro with the Public Defenders. I will make sure to send her an email and make sure she have a contact with you.
Taylor Chatting?
I'm going to email your public defender downtown, and I'm going to make sure she gets in contact with you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. All right, good morning, sir. Tell me your name, please.
Christopher Jordan.
All right, Mr. Jordan, you're here in 2020 CF 8588AO. You're arrested for aggravated battery on a pregnant person, false imprisonment, dating violence, and battery dating violence. I do find probable cause for those offenses, and I'll appoint the public defender. Do we have any witnesses here for Mr. Jordan?
No, yeah.
Nope, okay. So, Mr. Jordan, I am going to order that you have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim in the case. I'll have you sign the no contact order. Did you understand everything on that order?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you're also to maintain a separate residence. You're not to return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. And no weapons or firearms or any ammunition. I don't believe that that you live together, correct?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And you do qualify for pretrial release. I'm going to release you to pretrial release. Make sure that you comply with my orders as well as their requirements. If you don't, you can be held at no bond, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Good luck.
Your Honor, the next person, Angel Ortiz, medical.
Medical. Okay. All right. So Mr. Ortiz is medical. He's not coming. 2020 CF 8560AO. And I'm going to appoint the public defender's office. Mr. Matos, do you want to waive?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So we've got a warrant. He was arrested for sexual battery on a person who's over the age of 18 on a person over the age of 18. That's an F1 punishable by 30 years. False imprisonment, domestic violence, and then burglary of a dwelling with an assault or battery, which is a punishable by life felony. And then battery, domestic violence. And Ms. Kennedy Swanson, did you wish to be heard as to bond?
Yes, Your Honor, the defendant should be held at no bond as to count 3, and higher bond as to count 1, and no objection to subsidiaries for counts 2 and 4. The facts of the allegations of the case, Your Honor, are that the defendant used the key that he had prior to moving out of the residence with the victim. Then he held her down, forced sexual intercourse with her while holding her down. He then attempted to take a cricket machine and a phone from the home. And she was able to FaceTime one of her friends after he left. Law enforcement did a controlled phone call with the defendant. All he said was, "I'm sorry." He gave no further details at that point. At this point, we believe he should be held no bond, no contact with the victim, and no contact with the minor children that they share until another court changes that order.
Your Honor, is this the Ortiz Angel case?
Angel Ortiz.
Okay. I was looking at the loans.
All right. Did you have any argument, Mr. Matos?
No, Your Honor, we're going to reserve for the attorney downtown or leave it at the court's discretion at this time.
All right. I find proof evident presumption grade as to count 3. And I will hold Mr. Ortiz at no bond on count 3. Count 1 will be set at $30,000. Count 2 will be $1,500, and count 4 will be $500. I'm not taking any action on the. Do we know what's going on with his pretrial diversion case?
I have 1 second, Your Honor.
So I'm gonna order no contact directly or indirectly with the victim. That also, I mean, it also includes the children. Do you want a specific?
I want to make sure the defendant understands that he can't reach out to
So
her.
we'll put in there that he's to have no contact with his children until the order any order by a judge would modify that. He's not to return to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. No weapons, no firearms, no ammunition, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. If he has any weapons or firearms, he's to surrender them if he is released within 6 hours of his release.
The PTD contract was received, it looks like on 6/4 of this year.
Okay, yeah, because it looks like it's a pretty old case, so my guess is he'll be rejected from the program and get back on the docket. So I'm not taking any action on that. Anything further on that?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you for your patience. Can you tell me your name?
China Patrick.
All right, Ms. Patrick, you're here in 2020 CF 8442AO. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant in which probable cause was found for aggravated assault with a firearm, dating violence, and false imprisonment dating violence. And I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Do we have any witnesses for Ms. Patrick?
No,
Nope.
Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Patrick, I am ordering that you have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim in the matter. I'll have you sign the no contact order form. Do you understand everything on the form?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You're also to maintain a separate residence. I do know that, I guess the victim may have been staying at your residence. I don't know if he will still be there. If he is there, you cannot be there. I know that it's your home.
No, ma'am. I've been kicked him out. I didn't put an
Okay,
injection.
that's fine. I just want to let you know you have to maintain a separate residence, okay?
Okay, but I also, okay.
I don't want you to say anything that you talk to your attorney, okay? All right? You're not to possess any weapons or firearms or any ammunition. If you have any weapons or any firearms, you have to surrender them to law enforcement within 6 hours of your release from the jail. And you do qualify for pretrial release. I am going to release you on pretrial release. Make sure you comply with the court orders as well as their conditions. If you do not, then you can be held at no bond, okay? All right? Do you have any questions about anything, Ms. Patrick?
I just don't understand why, this is being charged against me and I did nothing like that.
You haven't been formally charged by an information by the state. So get with the attorney and talk to them about the case, and they can talk to the state attorney's office. You may not get formally charged. You've been arrested, okay? That's it right now, okay? All right, please tell me your name.
It's Vanessa Samuel.
All right, Miss Samuel, you're here in 2020 CF 8589AO. You're arrested for burglary of an occupied dwelling and domestic violence battery. And I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender, and we do have a witness present. Sir, can you raise your right hand to be sworn in? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, you're gonna need to speak into the microphone
I
and a
do.
little louder because I can't hear you. Okay, you can put your hand down. Can you tell me your name and spell your last name for me, please?
The name is Randy Hernandez. Last name Hernandez.
All right, Miss Kennedy Swanson, do you want to inquire?
Yes. Mr. Hernandez, are you afraid of Miss Samuel?
No, I'm not.
Would you like to have contact with her while this case is pending?
Yes.
Were drugs or alcohol involved in the situation?
No.
If something happened in the future, would you feel comfortable in calling the police or 911?
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Your Honor, there's no questions from the defense.
Okay, so there's two victims listed separately. So one is the homeowner, and then I believe one is you. So, and I think there's some confusion, and you've got some relationship problems going on.
Yes.
So, are you telling me that you are in absolutely no fear of Miss Samuel?
That's what I'm saying. Yes.
Okay. And nothing like this has ever, there's been no violence in the relationship in the
never.
past? Okay. Okay, so as it relates to Mr. Hernandez, you're allowed to have non-hostile, non-violent contact, okay? So, Ms. Samuel, that means no punching, no hitting, no biting, no scratching, no getting in his face, no saying mean things to him, no raising your voice, no being disrespectful. Do you understand all of those things?
Yes, I do.
Okay. You're going to have to maintain a separate residence from him, okay? And you're not to possess weapons or firearms or any ammunition. As it relates to the other victim in the case, you're not to have any contact directly or indirectly with her. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
You cannot return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. I believe that is her residence, so you're not to go back there. Okay?
Okay.
Same condition, no weapons, no firearms, no ammunition, all of that is included. And she does not qualify?
She can be qualified for PTR.
Okay. You mean, do I need to ask her any more questions, or?
No, she was interviewed. Only thing that was, they probably didn't qualify because her fingerprints wasn't clear.
Okay, so she, but if do you want me to do bond or? Okay, so I'm being told that you're gonna qualify for pretrial release. So I'm gonna place you in pretrial release, Ms. Samuel. You need to make sure that you follow all of those orders. Do you understand or have any questions about anything? Now's the time to ask about it, because if you violate it, you can be held at no bond.
I just need some help with assistance going through this.
That's why you have the public defender, so that phone number right there, you're gonna have to call them.
Okay.
Okay, they're your attorneys. And you can ask them any questions that you have legally speaking, but you don't have any questions about anything I've ordered today, correct?
No.
Okay, is that a yes, or you have questions or you don't have questions?
I don't have anything.
Okay.
I can't think
All
right
right,
now.
thank you, sir.
Do you have the name of the other person?
Huh?
The last name of the other person?
Yes. I don't like to say victim's name.
Well, I mean, just the last name.
The next person.
Can we, wait, did we have her sign a no contact order for, well, it's not a DV for her. so-
Yes.
Okay.
Your Honor, the next person on the docket, Joshua Sanders, is mental health, but I believe his victim.
Okay. Well, the victim is a child, so, is this the parent of the child?
I don't
Okay.
know.
We have a witness present for Mr. Sanders?
Disregard.
Okay, so Mr. Sanders, you said is medical?
Mental health.
Oh, mental health, okay. So, we would not resolve this case today regardless, so I'm gonna appoint the public defender, 2020 CF 8590AO. Mr. Matos, do you wanna waive?
Yes, Your Honor.
It's a, child abuse case without great bodily harm. And I do find probable cause for that offense, and I am going to order no contact directly or indirectly with the victim or any witnesses in the case. No unsupervised contact with any minor child under the age of 18. Maintain separate residences. He's not to return to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. Looks like he was staying with the witness for a couple days, so I don't know if he has any things there, but I'll let him go back one time with law enforcement to get any personal things he may need. It's not to possess weapons or firearms or any ammunition, and no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. The bond is set at $2,500. see if DCF was contacted, but if we could add that, like comply with any DCF investigation. All right, tell me your name, please.
Antoine Devon Williams.
All right, Mr. Williams, you're here in 2020 MM 5188AO. It's a domestic violence battery. I do find probable cause for that offense, and I'll appoint the public defender. We do have a witness. Ma'am, can you raise your right hand to be sworn in? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can you state your name for me and spell your last name?
Shanidra Thompson, and the last name is THOMPSON.
Ms. Kendi Swanson, do you wish to inquire?
Ms. Thompson, are you afraid of Mr. Williams?
No.
Would you like contact with him while this case is pending?
Yes.
Has anything of this happened in the past?
No.
Were drugs or alcohol related to this incident?
No.
If something happened in the future, would you feel comfortable in calling the police or
Yes.
911?
Mm-hmm.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Your Honor, there's no questions from the defense.
Okay. And you all live together?
Yes, ma'am.
You're not afraid of him at all?
No, ma'am.
All right, so I'm going to allow you to have non-hostile, non-violent contact. So, Mr. Williams, that means you're not to put your hands on her in any aggressive manner. No punching, no biting, no scratching, no kicking, no smushing her face, no poking her face, no getting in her face, no texting mean things to her, no being disrespectful. Do you understand all of that?
Yes, ma'am.
If you get upset or you want to argue, you go for a walk around the block.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
No weapons or firearms or any ammunition. And I am going to set the bond at $500. I'm not taking any action on your out on release case. It looks like you have a court date coming up on the 21st, and you have Mr. Notari as your attorney.
Yes, ma'am.
Make sure that you get in touch with him and you know if you need to appear anywhere or do anything by phone or virtually, okay? Do not miss any court dates, all right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Thank
Yes?
you.
I just had a request. If he decides to leave the house and get his things, can he come with law enforcement? Because some of his family broke into our house last night and broke stuff. So if he's gonna leave the residence, can he come with law enforcement?
I'm confused. So you're telling me last night somebody came and broke into your house from his family to
Yes.
get things,
Yes, and they broke some of my stuff.
and you're telling me that you're not in fear of him?
No, not of him, no.
Okay, and so, but you want him to come back to your house with law enforcement?
If he decides to move out, if he needs to come get his things, can he come with law enforcement and not like family members or anything like that?
Okay, well, I don't have any control over the family members. I can put in there that he is to maintain a separate resident. I mean, do you want him out of the home?
That's up to him.
I mean, I can put in there, it's gonna be very confusing if I'm not ordering maintain separate residences and non-hostile contact, and then he has to come back with law enforcement. So I don't know how to word all that.
Your Honor, can we just ask him if he wants to move out?
I'm not gonna ask him anything. I mean, you can ask him, but I'm not gonna ask him anything.
Not a problem. Mr. Williams.
Yes.
Are you planning on moving out of the house?
I mean, if we could sit down and talk cordially, I have no problem talking to her, so I can't say at the moment. But if she wants me out, I have no problem moving out.
Okay, so if he goes to the house and you guys are all talking, and then he says, I'm moving out, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's got to call law enforcement to come and get his things. I mean, it's a very confusing thing to put in an order.
No, I was just saying, if he
But
decides.
I can't control over I can't order his family not to come to the house. I don't have jurisdiction over his family.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to find a way to be able to word that, because you all could be just sitting there talking and he's like, I'm moving out.
And then he can get his things and then he can go. But
Right.
to call family to come and help, no.
Okay, so we'll put in the order that if defendant chooses to leave and vacate the residence, he cannot bring family with him to do so. Okay? Does that make
Yes.
sense, Madam Clerk? Can you? Okay, we'll word it that way. Okay? That makes it a little more clear, because kind of contradictory if we do it another way. Okay, Mr. Williams, did you understand all of that? If you decide that you want to leave the house and you're not at the house, you can't have family come and help you move.
I did hear that, ma'am, but by the way, my licenses are suspended, so I can't drive. So I would need someone to pick me up.
Okay, well, there's moving companies and there's people who can come and that are not your family or not your friends who could come and move.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I mean, I don't really know how to word it if that's what you're asking me to do. If he doesn't have a license, he can't drive a vehicle himself. He's right about that. So I don't, I mean, so is there any specific family or specific people?
No, it was his sister and a cousin that broke into the house when nobody was home and broke my stuff.
Did you call the police?
Yes.
And they made a police report?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. I mean, Miss Kennedy Swan, can you think of anything that I can? This is the first one for me, so.
Yeah, I have nothing to add. I don't.
I mean,
yeah.
I've been at this for 16 years and never had this one come up, but so I'll just word it the way I worded it. I can't control if he has a moving company come over and somebody's related to him in some way, shape, or form, because I don't know who's related to him and who's not. Okay? All right. All right. Thank you. All right. Please tell me your name.
Christopher Davis.
All right, Mr. Davis, you're here in 2020 MM 5193AO. It's a dating violence battery, and I do find probable cause for that offense. I'll appoint the public defender. Do we have any witnesses for Mr. Davis? No? Okay. So, Mr. Davis, I am ordering that you have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim. I'll have you sign the no contact order. Do you understand everything on that form, sir?
Yes.
All right. And that can be changed in writing at a later date by a judge, okay? But it must be changed in writing. You're to maintain a separate residence. If you need to return back to the residence to get personal belongings, you must do so with law enforcement to get any things that you need. I'm not sure if you're all living together still, but no weapons or firearms or ammunition, and no alcohol or drugs without a valid prescription. If you're taking any medications, you're to take them as prescribed. And you do qualify for pretrial release. I'm going to release you to pretrial release. Make sure that you comply with any of my court orders as well as their conditions, okay?
Okay.
Good luck. Good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Good morning. My name is Jenny Gashard.
All right, Ms. Gashard, you're here in 2020 MM 5190AO. You're arrested for domestic violence battery. And I do find probable cause for that offense, and I'll appoint the public defender. And we have a witness, sir. Can you raise your right hand to be sworn in? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, hold on. We're taking testimony from the witness, ma'am.
Oh.
All right, and then you'll need to, you're really tall, so you'll need to just kind of get it, speak into the microphone for me when you talk. Can you tell me your name and spell your last name?
My name is DeAndre Cobwood. CALLWOOD.
Okay, and Ms. Kennedy Swanson, do you want to inquire?
Yes, Mr. Caldwell, are you afraid of Ms. Gouchard?
No, ma'am.
Would you like?
Sorry, I couldn't hear.
Sorry, he said no, he's not afraid of.
Okay.
Would you like contact with her while this case is pending?
Yes, ma'am.
Were drugs or alcohol related to this incident?
No, ma'am.
If something happened in the future, would you feel comfortable in calling the police or 911?
Yes, ma'am.
No further questions.
Your Honor, there's no questions from the defense.
Okay, thank you. So, Mr. Caldwood, Are you're in absolute no fear whatsoever of Ms. Gashard?
That's correct.
And you all live together?
Yes, we do.
All right, I'm gonna let you have non-hostile, non-violent contact, Ms. Gashard. Listen to me carefully. This means no pushing, no shoving, no biting, no scratching, no kicking, no getting in his face, no being disrespectful, no taking his things and putting them and destroying them, okay? Any act of aggression is a violation of that non-hostile, non-violent contact order. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So if you get upset, you walk away, okay?
Okay.
You're to not possess any weapons or firearms or any ammunition. You do qualify for pretrial release. I'm going to release you to pretrial release. Make sure that you comply with the orders and you don't get arrested for anything or violate anything because you can be held at no bond, okay?
Okay.
All right, good luck. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Tanya Ortiz.
Ms. Ortiz, you're here in 2020 MM 518280. You were arrested for domestic violence battery. Did you find probable cause for that offense? And I'll appoint the public defender. Do we have any other witnesses out there at all?
No, Your Honor.
Anything for Ms. Ortiz? No? Okay. All right, Ms. Ortiz, I'm going to order that you have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim. I'll have you sign the no contact order, please. Did you understand everything on the form? Ma'am, did you understand everything on that form?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You're also to maintain a separate residence. If you need to return back to the residence, you must go with law enforcement. You can go one time to get any personal belongings that you may need. No weapons or firearms or any ammunition. Looks like DCF was contacted, so you'll need to comply with any DCF investigation in the case. I'm gonna place you in pretrial release. Make sure you comply with those orders as well as their conditions, okay?
Thank you.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
All right. We have Vargas.
Oh, Your Honor, he's not coming to court due to behavior.
All right. Mr. Vargas is not behaving and he's not coming to court. So it's 2020 MM 5194AO. I'm going to appoint the public defender. Mr. Matos, do you want to waive?
Yes, Your Honor.
It's a violation of condition of pretrial release and assault dating violence. And I do find probable cause and I did appoint the PD. There's to be no contact directly or indirectly with the victim, maintain separate residences, one-time return with law enforcement to get personal belongings, no weapons, no firearms, no ammunition. I'm revoking the release in 2020 CF 785780, setting the bond at none. Looks like he's represented by Mr. Verrett with conflict counsel, so he does have an attorney in that case. Does anyone know what's going on with the Osceola County case? Ms. Kenny, do you have access to the Osceola database?
I do. May I have one moment, Your Honor?
It's 2020 CF 1432.
You said 1432?
Yeah.
Another information was filed on 7/6.
Okay. All right. Due bonds, yes, sorry. So count one will be 2,500, count two will be 500. All right, good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Rafael Rincon Jr.
All right, Mr. Rincon, you might need to talk a little bit closer to the microphone. It's a little, thank you.
Sorry about that.
Okay, that's fine. All right, you're hearing 2020 CT 4404, 20 CT 4405, and 20 CT 4406. It's a DUI, and then refusing to submit to a DUI test, and then no valid driver's license. And I do find probable cause for those offenses, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you.
Okay.
All right, so no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription.
Okay.
You're not to drive without a valid driver's license. And I'm gonna place you on pretrial release with random urinalysis if they're doing it. I'm not sure, but I'll put that as a condition.
Okay.
So make sure no drugs or alcohol, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. That's it? Okay, thank you.
Ryan Stuckey? All right, please tell me your name.
Ryan Hall Stuckey.
All right, Mr. Stuckey, you're here in 2020 CT 4407. It's a no motor vehicle registration. I do find probable cause for that offense. Ms. Kenny Swanson, did you have an offer?
Adjudication credit for time served.
All right, so Mr. Stuckey, the state's offering you an adjudication with credit for time served, which is 2 days, yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to accept that offer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, did you read the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand everything on that plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand all those rights that you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am.
No? Okay. Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I do find a factual basis to accept your plea. Based on the affidavit, I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days with credit for 2 days' time served. Order you pay your court costs by July 17, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Mr. Stuckey, I'm not going to revoke your release today, but you've got 4 cases.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? So some judge could have revoked your release today. I could have revoked your release today for a no motor vehicle registration.
Yes,
It's still a crime, and you're still out on release. So I'm going to give you a warning today and tell you that if you come back, chances are you're not going to get another shot at it.
Yes, ma'am.
So think about it.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't miss any court dates. Don't get rearrested, all right?
Yes, ma'am.
Good luck. All right, so we've got some status hearings. All right, tell me your name.
Maxim Anthony Glupchik.
All right, Mr. Golubchik, you're here on a status hearing from a Sarasota County warrant. That was a Sarasota County case 2018 CF 5989.
Yes.
And one of the judges here did speak with Judge Roberts, who is your judge in Sarasota County. And they're advising that the bond will still be stayed at none. So the PD was appointed here to represent you. So your next step is to call them and see if they will file a bond motion for you here, and that would be heard here in Orange County by one of the judges here, okay?
I've been trying to get in touch with them. Like, it's really difficult. So they won't extradite me to Sarasota County, but I have to
Well,
sit.
we're, in any normal time, yes. Right now, with the COVID pandemic, the counties are not transporting people, okay? So this is what we're doing. Normally, we would not appoint the public defender here for you, but we've already done that. So, Mr. Matos, I don't know if he has an assigned attorney. I don't know how your office is handling these things when you get appointed.
So when they get appointed, the case is created and there's an attorney assigned later. So
Right,
he'll have an
but
attorney by
but
Monday.
He was seen a while, when was he last seen?
I don't know. I don't have any information for out of county, so I can't look that up.
When were you seen by a judge last? When did you get arrested?
I got arrested 3 days ago.
3 days ago?
Yeah.
Okay, so
But-
3 days ago, he was appointed the public defender. So somebody in your office should be assigned to his case.
Then I'll be able to send him an email, make sure he gets.
Okay, so the PD here is gonna communicate with the PD who is assigned to your case. And you'll still have to continue to try to call them, but that's one other way that maybe they will be able to get in touch with you to file a bond motion, okay?
So I just don't know who I'm trying to get in touch with.
I can't tell you unless Mr. Matos has access to his database and
Yeah.
who the attorney is. I can tell you but I don't have access to their system, okay? So hold on one second, we'll see.
And there's no way, I'm guessing, I can get like pretrial release till my court date or like.
I have no authority to change anything out of Sarasota County unless that judge gives us permission to do that, okay? So,
Case number, Your Honor?
well, it's a Sarasota case number,
Oh.
which
I
I don't know
I'll
if
try
it'll
it.
be in your system, but maybe his name?
Okay.
So his last name is
Give me 1 second.
Golubchik.
Oh, just give me 1 second, it's loading. Because it's a different page. Okay, can you spell that again?
Golubchik. It's on the add-on docket. First name is Maxim.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We have new case assigned to Danielle Barato.
Danielle Barbato, I think?
Barbato, yes.
Barbado, yeah. So it's Danielle Barbato.
Is
That's
that,
the person that you'll need to get in contact with,
is that
okay?
male? Is that a male or a female?
It's a female. Her
Okay.
name is Danielle.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Do we have Noah Jones?
Oh, Your Honor,
Was
will
he
not be
ROR?
coming because of medical.
It says defendant may be released ROR. Defendant to provide a good address and instructions to contact court for a court date. Trial clerk to include defendant's current address in the court minutes. He hasn't been ROR'd yet, right? Obviously.
No.
And he's medical?
Yes, medical.
Ugh. Well, the PD was appointed, so the PD, I don't know how you're gonna get in touch with people who are medical, but the only way that he is gonna be released ROR is if he provides a good address with instructions to contact the court for a court date, and that we're supposed to get his current address and put it in the court minutes, so I can't release him. So what we'll do is I'll just have this reset. Is there any way that corrections can get any of that information from him?
Excuse me, I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Ms. Taylor, is there anybody in corrections that can communicate with him in medical? Okay, all right, so I'm just gonna call the recalls. So the first was 2020 CF 730480. It was a 33-day motion. Christina Ann Sanseverino.
Yes, Your Honor, the state filed information and the filing ID I did just receive 1103948888.
1103
94888. 3 8s.
888.
Yes.
Filing ID.
Mr. Matos, you want to come look at this one?
I think that was Mr. Verrett?
Yeah, that
Or
was-
Jeff Stone? Jeff
Yes.
Stone.
I'm looking at the other case, the next case. Here's the clock in copy. Okay. There's no filing ID.
James, right.
Yeah. This is on Daughtry.
So that will be denied. And then I've got 2020 CF 7381AO Marquise Morgan.
That, Your Honor, we still don't have the filing ID. We have it shows that it was e-filed for emergency on the e-portal, but we don't have the filing ID yet.
Okay, let me see if it's in Odyssey and then. So I show that it is in Odyssey. It was
Okay.
filed. At 9:10 in the morning. And that will be denied. Okay, and then we've got 2020 CF 7385 James William Doherty.
And on Mr. Doherty's case, Your Honor, we have a clocked-in copy that was filed and a requested transfer from misdemeanor to felony, and I just showed Mr. Matos the clocked-in copy.
Okay, that will be denied. And then I had a status hearing for Mr. Noah Jones. It was a Lake County 19 CF 3304B. And corrections, thank you so much for getting the address for Mr. Jones. He's listed as 1249 St. James. I don't know if it's a street, but St. James, huh?
That's all he wrote.
That's all he
Same.
wrote.
Mhm.
Okay. Orlando, Florida, 32808. And he'll be released ROR. He's provided an address and he's been given instructions in the court minutes to contact the court for a court date. And his court minutes or address is in the court file. So I think that takes care of all those recess. All right. And I forgot to mention, this is Judge Wish, and it's second session, and can I just have the parties announce themselves for the record, please?
Coffee Kennedy Swanson on behalf of the Office of the State Attorney.
Pedro Matos from the Public Defenders.
Now, good afternoon, tell me your name, please.
My name is my brothers.
Okay, do we have Daniel Shangazi?
Jimmy?
Hi, Mr. Broadus, how you doing? Do we know
Doing
where
fine.
Mr. Shangazi is? Is it?
That's fine.
Okay, it was the first case that I had. Okay, we'll do Mr. Broadus. How you doing, Mr. Broadus?
It's fine.
All right. All right, you were arrested for 2020 MM 5179AO. It's a trespass on property after warning, and I do find probable cause. Do you have an offer?
Time served, adjudication of guilt, no return.
Okay, so Mr. Broadus, do you want to do that today?
Yes, I take offer.
You accept?
Yeah,
Do you want a plea no contest?
yeah,
Okay, and you read the plea form?
yeah,
You understand everything on that plea form?
yeah.
Are you on probation?
I'm not.
Did you hear me? Are you
Yeah,
on
no, I'm not.
probation? Okay. You understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation.
Yeah.
Okay. I do find a factual basis to accept your plea based on the affidavit. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to is it 1 day or 2 days? 2 days. 2 days, credit for time served. In order that you pay your court costs by July 17th, 2021. Do not go back to that Publix at 400 East Central Boulevard. You'll probably get arrested. I'm not going to take action on his other cases today.
Never mind. Is that it?
That's it.
Your Honor, next on the list is Clapp. He's
Okay.
mental health.
Okay. I will, did you have an offer, Ms. Kenny?
Your Honor.
You want me to reset it for tomorrow? Mr.
Your Honor,
Contes?
I'm getting an email right now that I know we're not appointed Mr. Cornelius, but Eric saying he cannot plead.
Well, this is the thing. I looked up all the other cases. Nobody's filed anything. And a couple weeks ago, Ms. Custon said that they were going to be filing motions for competency. I looked up all the cases. Nobody's filed anything. So I know he wanted to resolve the case. Your office has not filed anything in any one of his cases.
Understand, Your Honor.
So he clearly understood what was happening. I see Mr. Broadus probably once a week. I'm not revoking his release. I don't think that his plea in this case is going to affect anything, especially when nothing's been filed. So I did not appoint the public defender and assess any additional charge to him. And really, you're just setting him up for missing court and not having issue. It's just a revolving door. So, Mr. Clapp is mental health. Do you want me to reset this, Mr. Matos, for tomorrow?
Please, Your Honor.
Okay, so we'll reset Mr. Clapp for tomorrow for a possible plea.
You appointed a PD
I'll appoint the PD. All right, please tell me your name.
Thomas James Fannin.
All right, do we know what happened to Hassan Conception?
He bonded, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll take no action on that. All right, Mr. Fannin,
Yes, ma'am.
you are here in 2020 MM 518680. You're arrested for trespass and in a structure or conveyance, and I do find probable cause. Did you have an offer for him?
Adjudication, credit for time served, no return.
Okay, so it would be an adjudication, credit for time served, and no return, abide by the trespass. Mr. Fannin, do you want to accept that offer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you want to plea no contest?
Yes, ma'am. No contest.
Okay. Did you read the plea form?
Yes, I did.
Okay, did you understand everything on the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Understand all those rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am.
You understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I do find a factual basis to accept your plea based on the affidavit. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days with credit for 2 days time served. Order that you pay your court costs by July 17th, 2021. You cannot go back to 1350 North Mills Avenue, that's 711. Abide by the trespass warning.
Yes, ma'am.
And if you'd like to appeal the judgment, sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Not taking any action on the out on release case. Do we know if has that been filed on, or I don't know if we can resolve it today too?
Case number, Your Honor?
2020 MM 5066 AO. It's a trespass.
I'm homeless. I'm sorry. I just go to the convenience store and
Don't, it's okay.
It's not been filed on, Your Honor.
It's not been filed on, okay. It looks like you do have a court date coming up.
yes, ma'am. What would be the date of that? I want to make sure that I'm there.
I think it's August 12th, is that right? And so I don't know, you're gonna need to get in touch with your attorney to make sure how you appear, because not everything's gonna be in person, so
Yes, ma'am.
you need to make sure that you do not miss any court dates, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good luck, sir.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, please tell me your name.
Byron Galloway.
All right, Mr. Galloway, you're here in 2020 MM 5181 AO. You're arrested for petty theft. I do find probable cause. And did you have an offer, Ms. Kennedy Swanson?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. So the state's not making an offer today. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to return back to the Walmart Supercenter at 5734 South Orange Blossom Trail. No contact with any victims or witnesses. And Mr. Galloway, where are you living right now?
I am currently recently homeless.
Recently homeless? Okay. So where, do you have a place that you get your mail?
I was using my sister's address,
Okay, and what address is that?
1089 South Kirkman Road, apartment 197. 1089 South Kirkman Road, apartment 197.
Apartment 197. Is there Orlando and a zip? What's the zip code?
32811.
32811. Okay. So that's the address that we're going to put in the court file for you. Okay? And that's the address that the PD is going to have for you.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to order you to be ROR'd, but you must contact the PD within 24 hours of your release.
I will. I just need the numbers.
If your sister moves or you're not going to get your mail there, or you get a permanent address, you need to let the clerk's office know, and you need to let the public defender's office know, so that you get notice.
Yes,
You're
ma'am.
going to get a court date when you get out. Do not miss that court date, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck. All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Also Leonard.
Okay, you're here in 2020 MM 5187AO. It's a battery, and I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. No contact with any victim or witness. No return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. The bond will stay at the $500. And you also have a domestic case, a writ in 11 DR 1783. And so what we're going to do is the judge has ordered that you be released as to this case. You're going to have to appear by phone for a telephone hearing. And the paperwork that you're going to get is going to tell you exactly who to call and when to call. If you miss that phone call and you do not, listen. If you miss the phone call and you do not appear, even by phone, the judge can issue a warrant and you can get arrested again for it,
Yes,
okay?
ma'am.
So just read everything that's on here, make sure that you follow all of those instructions. But you still have the $500 bond on the battery, okay? Right?
Yes, ma'am.
And did I say no weapons, no firearms? Okay, so no weapons or firearms or any ammunition. All right, thank you. All right, please tell me your name.
I'm Jeremy Zavell.
Mr. Zavell, you're here in 2020 MM 5184 AO. You're arrested for petty theft. I do find probable cause for that offense. And Ms. Kenny Swanson, did you have an offer?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. So the state's not going to be able to resolve your case today. I'm going to appoint the public defender. You're not to return back to any target. Do you understand?
Okay.
No targets.
Yes.
No contact with any victims or witnesses in the case.
Okay.
And the bond will be $500. You're out on bond for 2020 or MM 166AE. I am going to revoke the bond and set that at none at this time. And it looks like the PD was previously appointed, and they're going to have to file a bond motion for you in the case.
I missed that. What? What did you say a second ago? I missed what you said. Can I plead no contents to this or anything?
The state's not making an offer today, sir.
Okay. But what were you saying about the other case? I didn't hear what you said.
I revoked your release and set your bond at none. You're going to have to contact the public defender, and they'll have to file a bond motion for you in that case.
Why was your other bond revoked, can I ask?
I revoked your bond because you're out on bond for theft, and you've been arrested for theft from a target, and the other place was a target.
So even if I pay the bond, it's not going to help?
Well, I can't give you any legal advice, but if you pay the $500 or whatever the bond that I set, you're not going to get out today because of the other bond being revoked. Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay? Good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Daniel Changazi.
All right. All right, sir, you are here in 2014 MM 3950AO. You were arrested because you failed to appear for a pretrial conference back on November 20th, 2015. Did you want to, well, this is the thing. He's got no prior history. My guess is he might qualify.
So he didn't show up to PTD. He got rejected because he never showed up.
Right, and it's probably they didn't have a good address. So then this is a really old case. And this Judge McGinnis's case, and he's basically told me I can pretty much do whatever I want on a capias. So
I'll make an offer if you would like it. I'll do
well, this is the thing. I just don't want, is it a withhold?
I'll do a withhold.
Okay. So, Mr. Shangazi, this is going to be your option today. So, you don't have any prior history, okay? So, the state's saying that they'll make an offer to you to resolve the case today if you wanted to resolve it. And what would the offer be?
Withhold credit for time served. It's not a no return because the store is not there anymore. However, there's cost of investigation of $41.56 to the Orlando Police Department.
Okay. Did he have the PD? Do we know? Okay. So your option is if you wanted to resolve the case today, okay, it would be a withhold of an adjudication, meaning it would not be a formal conviction. All right?
Okay.
And it would be the credit for time served. Do we know what the total credit for time served is? 2 days. And then there's a cost of investigation to the Orlando Police Department for $41.56. Now, the other option is that I would release you, ROR, if you give me a good address for you so that you will show up to court. If you then do not show up to court, you're probably going to get a no bond capias because this is set at no bond. So what do you want to do?
So you said the first offer was I just pay the Orange County Police Department.
It's it would be a withhold of adjudication, meaning it would not be a formal conviction.
So it won't be on my record.
You would be sentenced to 2 days with credit for 2 days time served, so you would get out today. And there would be that cost of investigation and court costs, and I would give you a year to pay that off.
Do you have any idea what the court cost would be?
223 or I don't know.
It's gonna be, 273 plus the 4156.
So it would be 273 plus the cost of investigation of the 4156, and I would give you a year to pay it. 314.56.
Okay, and I'm trying to wrap this around, but you said if I just take the first offer, I will just have to pay the court costs and I'll do the time served for 2 days already?
You've already done it. You would
Yeah.
get out today. I would give you a year to pay all your costs and fees.
Okay, and so I'll get out today, you said, and because I just got notice, I didn't know this was a pending thing because I was joining the Army when I got notification about my fingerprints. So will I still be able to, proceed with that procedure? It won't affect me?
See, I don't know if the Army would reject you because you pled to a theft, because whether it's a withhold or not. So I don't want to mess anything up with the Army for you, okay?
Okay.
All right? So I'm going to appoint the public defender. Do you have an address that you can give me
Yes, I could. Yep.
where you're going to get your mail?
Yep. Yeah, I can do that. You want me to tell you?
Or you can write it down if they have a piece of paper.
Mm-hmm. Do I write it down anyway?
Are you all writing it down, or do you want me to write it down?
Should I write it? Oh, do I, 32? Oh, yes, it's 32701 West 13 Mile Road, Farmington Hills, Michigan, 48334.
Okay, West 13th
Mile Road.
Mile Road.
Mm-hmm.
What is it, Michigan?
Farmington Hills, Michigan.
Farmington?
Yes, Farmington. Hills, Hills.
And what's the zip code?
48334.
Okay. Do you have a phone number? So maybe the public defender would want that?
Yes, 248.
248?
808 0471.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is release you ROR. You're going to get a court date, okay?
Mm-hmm.
When you
August 10th at 9 a.m.
August 10th at 9 a.m. You must find out whether you need to appear in person or not. All that's going to be on the court minutes. You need to get in touch with the public defender's office within 24 hours of your release.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure they know how to get in touch with you
Okay.
and that you do not miss court, because if you miss court again, you're probably not going to get out, okay?
All right. And this is from the first offer you're saying I should take?
We're not doing any plea today because I don't want to mess anything up for the Army for you. I don't know if you plead today, if that will mess anything up for you with the Army.
Okay, so if I plead today, that will be on my record that I'm pleading guilty?
We're not entering a plea today, sir. All right.
Would I still be released today, or, okay. All right. 8:10, okay. Okay. Okay, all right, thank you, Judge.
All right, you're welcome. Thank you.
How you doing, Your Honor?
All right, good. How are you doing?
Well, I'm trying to make it.
All right, are you Lionel Wilkerson?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Wilkerson, you're here in 2020 CO 589. It's a soliciting without a permit. And I do find probable cause for that offense. And do you have an offer?
Credit fine, sir. Adjudication. Credit fine,
All right, so Mr. Wilkerson, do you want to resolve your case today?
Yes, ma'am. Time served, ma'am.
That's what it is. Do you want to do that?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, did you read the plea form?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Why not?
The plea form is time served, right?
Well, that's not what's on the plea form.
Oh,
Plea
yes.
form, yeah, the plea form talks about all
yes,
your rights.
Yes, I have read that, ma'am.
Okay,
I read it, ma'am. Yes. Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
Did you understand everything on the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand all those rights that you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am.
Okay. You understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I find a factual basis to accept your plea. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days with credit for 2 days' time served. Order you pay your court costs by July 17th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment, sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. I'm going to keep having you report to pretrial release, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Don't miss any phone calls or whatever you need to do. If
Yes,
you get
ma'am.
arrested for something else, I don't know, some judge may decide to revoke that, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you,
right.
ma'am. I appreciate it, ma'am.
Does he have the PD in that case? Yeah.
Your Honor, next on the list is Bailey. He's behavior.
Okay, so Mr. Bailey is behavior. I'm gonna find that to be a waiver and appoint the public defender. Mr. Matos, or do you want to formally waive?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, it's 2020 CF 8581AO. It's a possession of cocaine. I do find probable cause and no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. The bond will stay set at 1,000. I'm taking no action on the out on release case. He does have an attorney on that case as well.
Next on the list, Robert Bauer, medical.
Medical. I like this new term. All right. So we'll appoint the public defender. Mr. Matos, do you want to waive?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so it's 2020 CF 8550AO. And this is a warrant charging him with attempted sexual battery, which is a felony of the second degree. And he does have reporting requirements. And so his conditions of any release are no contact with any victim or any witness, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, and no weapons or firearms or any ammunition. I am gonna set the bond at 15,000.
You say he had reporting requirements?
Yes, he has reporting requirements. All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon. My name is Anlita Bodyford.
All right, Ms. Bodiford, you're here in 2020 CF 8481AO. It's a warrant. Probable cause was found for aggravated battery with great bodily harm with a weapon. And I will appoint the public defender to represent you in that case.
Yes, ma'am.
No contact with any victim or witness. No
Yes.
return to the scene of where the offense is alleged to have occurred.
Yes, ma'am.
And no weapons or firearms or any ammunition.
Yes, ma'am.
I am gonna stay the bond at 10,000.
Yes,
It
ma'am.
looks like she needs to be served with a summons. I don't know if the state saw that note on the face sheet. There's a NM case that was filed on. It looks like the summons was returned unserved, so you may want to get with the clerk's office. And then I've also got 2020 CT 569. Is that AW?
No, it's actually
AA, okay. And so that's a driving while license suspended case. Did you want to try to resolve that today, Ms. Bodiford?
Your Honor, to be honest with you, I've had my license since I was 15. They're very sentimental to me. I had no acknowledgement that my license was even suspended, Your Honor, until the night of me being arrested and getting pulled
Okay,
over.
so if you have a defense, and that's fine, you don't have to resolve it today.
Yes,
I do
ma'am.
find the probable cause. I'm gonna appoint the public defender in that case as well.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
I'll stay the bond at the 500, and you can't drive without a valid driver's license.
Yes,
okay?
ma'am. I appreciate that, Your Honor.
All right, looks like you have another battery case, I think, that the state filed on, so you may get served with a summons on that. I'm not sure I don't know
Me?
anything about it.
I don't need them, Your Honor.
Well, it looks like it was a non-arrest case and the state filed on it, so I don't know anything about it,
Yes,
but you may
ma'am.
get served with a summons for it.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, please tell me your name.
Kruger?
All right, Ms. Bruger, you're here in 2020 CF 8583 AO. You're arrested for possession of heroin and possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. I am gonna stay the bond at 1,000. I'll reduce count 2 to 100. All right, thank you. All right, tell me your name, please.
Keyshawn Epps.
All right, Mr. Epps. You're here in 2020 CF 8266 AO. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant. Probable cause was found for burglary of a conveyance for the battery therein. Looks like it says with a firearm on the warrant. And then aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and discharging a firearm in public or on residential property. So count 1 is a life felony. Does the state wish to be heard as to bond?
I have one moment, Your Honor.
Sure.
Your Honor, we believe that the defendant should continue to be held at no bond as to count 1, looking at the affidavit by, and the court take consideration the affidavit by, no, that's, I can't find the officer's name.
Stephen Landry.
Stephen Landry, yes, by Stephen Landry, Your Honor. We'd also ask for no contact, no weapon, even if he has remained in custody, to have no contact with any victim or witnesses, even from the jail.
Can I ask a question, Your Honor?
Mr. Epps, so I don't want you to, listen to me real close. Like, I don't want you to say anything on the record that may, hurt you later on. So today's not the day. If you have a defense or you want to talk about the facts, you're going to have an opportunity to have a, talk with your attorney. Today's not that day. Your attorney's in here with me, so they can't be there to talk to you. So if you have a question about this court proceeding, other than the facts, I can answer that, but I just need to warn you that whatever you say, you're being recorded, and it'll probably be used against you, whatever you say.
All right.
Okay? Okay. Mr. Matos, did you have any argument?
Your Honor, the PD is going to reserve for the attorneys downtown, and we're just going to leave this at the judge's discretion at this
Okay.
time.
So Mr. Epps, your attorney here in court with me is reserving your right to have what's called an Arthur hearing downtown. It's a bond hearing, and that will be a little bit more in-depth than an initial appearance bond hearing. So you'll be able to present witnesses and all sorts of things, okay? So based on my review of the affidavit, I do find proof evident presumption great as to count 1. I am going to hold Mr. Epps at no bond on count 1. The bonds on counts 2, 3, and 4 will stay the same at $3,500, $2,500, and $500. Any conditions of release, or even from the jail, you're not to have any contact directly or indirectly with any victim, any witness, or any co-defendant that may be named. Excuse me. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. No return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. No weapons or firearms or any ammunition. And if you are released and you have any weapons or any firearms, you'll have to surrender them within 6 hours of release from the Orange County Jail. And so you're also out on release in 2020 CF 60BO. Looks looks like Ms. Bobeck represents you in that case. So I'm gonna revoke the release and set that bond at none. You're gonna have to get in touch with Ms. Bobeck, and she'll file a bond motion for you in that case as well.
So what if all the charges that I'm in here now, what if all
So
of them
you,
get
so
dropped?
the warrant that you were arrested on is a burglary of a conveyance with an assault or battery with a firearm, which is a life felony, and then aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and then discharging a firearm in public or on a residential property. And then I revoke the release that you have in 2020 CF60 BO, which is tampering with physical evidence and interfering with a dead body. So you're in on all of those charges. You have bonds on 3 counts, but your count 1 is no bond on the burglary, okay? So call your attorneys and they'll file some bond motions for you, all right? All right, please tell me your name.
Michael Flowers, how you doing, Your Honor?
All right, good. How are you? Thank you, sir. Mr. Flowers, you're here in 2020 CF 8578AO. You're arrested for aggravated battery with great bodily harm. I do find probable cause for that offense, and I'll appoint the public defender. You may not have any contact directly or indirectly with any victim in the case. No weapons, no firearms, no ammunition, and no return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. Looks like at 10500 West Colonial Drive, that Walmart.
Yes, ma'am.
And the bond will stay set at $3,500. You're out on release for battery. And that's 2020 MM 3267. And it looks like you have an attorney in that case. I am going to revoke the release and set that at none at this time. So your attorney will have to file a bond motion for you in that case, Mr. Flowers, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Good afternoon, Devontae Greer.
All right, Mr. Greer, you're here in 2020 CF 8575AO. You're charged with possession of cannabis with intent to sell or deliver, possession of cannabis more than 20 grams, fleeing, attempting to elude a law enforcement officer with lights and sirens, and resisting an officer without violence, and possession of drug paraphernalia.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. So no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, no weapons or firearms, or any ammunition either. The bond will stay at $150 on count 1, $150 on count 2, $2,500 on count 3, and $100 on count 4 and count 5.
So 2,500 for the fleeing and looting, right?
So it's 26, 2,800 total. Okay?
All right, thank you.
How you doing?
All right, good. How are you, sir? Can you tell me your name?
Jordan Honor.
All right, Mr. Honor, you're here in 2020 CF 8580AO. You're arrested for possession of methamphetamine, possession, 2 counts of possession of a controlled substance, and possession of cannabis, more than 20 grams.
Excuse me, can I say something by chance?
Well, hold on.
Sorry.
I don't want you to say anything if you have a defense or you want to talk about the facts. Today's not the day because you're being recorded. Everything that you can say can and likely will be used against you, okay? So if you have a defense, you can talk to your PD about it or any attorney that you should decide to hire. But today is not the day to start talking because it can hurt you later on, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So, I do find the probable cause and no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription.
Yes, ma'am.
Count 1 will be $1,000. Count 2 and 3 will be $150. Count 4 will be $100. All right, Mr. Honor, I'm not going to revoke your release today, okay?
What you said?
Today's a good day. Today's a good day. Now, if you come back, it's probably not going to be a good day.
Yes, ma'am. I understand that. I understand that.
So make sure that you stay out of trouble. You don't miss any court dates. If you do, you'll probably get no bond capiases. And if you get arrested again and you come back and you have both of these cases, it's probably not going to be a good day, okay?
Yes, ma'am. I understand.
All right. Good luck.
All right. Thank you.
All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
My name is Salvatore House. Sorry, H-A-U-S-E.
All right, Mr. House, you're here in 2020 CF 8591AO. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant in which probable cause was found for 25 counts of possession of material depicting a sexual performance by a child.
Yes, ma'am.
And I am going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you.
Thank you.
So you are not to have any contact with any minor child under the age of 18. You're not to use any internet, any social media, anything related to the internet. You're not going to be using it, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. No weapons or firearms or any ammunition. I'm setting your bond at $1,000 on each count. So it's a total of $25,000.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, any questions about that?
Not currently, no, ma'am.
Okay. If you have any questions or you need legal advice, talk to the public defender. Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This is Jamion Ishmael.
Okay, Mr. Ishman, you're here in 2020 CF 8547AO. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant for 3 counts of attempted homicide. And I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. I believe that these are just F2s because there's no allegation of the firearm in the statute. There is in the warrant, but it's not what they charged in the affidavit for the warrant. So unless anybody has anything else, they're just all F2s.
That's fine, Your Honor. State would request a high bond, but state would also ask that the bond be revoked or his out on bond, and he be held at no bond.
So, Mr. Ishman, I am going to order that you have no contact with any victim or any witness in the case. You're not to return to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. No weapons, no firearms, and no ammunition. And your bond on count 1 will be $25,000. Count 2 will be $15,000. Count 3 will be $15,000. I am revoking the release. In 2019 CF 16071, you do have the public defender in that case. You need to make sure that you get in touch with them so that they can file a bond motion for you, okay?
Okay, so basically, I don't have a bond.
No. Okay.
All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name.
McLeod.
All right, Mr. McLeod, you're here in 2020 CF 8571. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant. Probable cause was found for robbery, sudden snatching, and grand theft, third degree of a motor vehicle. And I will appoint the public defender to represent you. No contact with any victims or witnesses in the case.
Your Honor, this was all fabricated.
I don't want you to talk
Mr.
about the
McLeod.
facts of the case, Mr. McLeod. You're being recorded, so anything that you say can be used against you and probably will be. So if you have a defense, call the public defender and they'll be able to handle anything that you need them to do for you. But right now, don't say anything, okay? It's for your own good.
Yes, ma'am.
So I am gonna set the bond at 3,500 on count 1 and 150 on count 2. Again, no contact, okay? So until the case is resolved or you get a change of no contact order, you cannot have contact with any victims or witnesses, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Take your paper stuff out.
Okay.
All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name.
William LaRon Racker, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Rackard, you're here in 2020 CF 8540AO. You're arrested for possession of methamphetamine. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. I'm gonna stay the bond at 1,000, but I'm not revoking your release today. Make sure you don't miss any court dates. Does he have the public defender in that case? Not sure, so we're gonna, if you don't, we'll appoint them on that case, okay? So, let's see. It doesn't have anybody listed on my form, so.
No.
No, okay. So we're gonna appoint the public defender for you in 2020 CF 8127AO, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Adam Rinaldi.
Mr. Rinaldi?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you need to get a little bit closer to the microphone. Okay. All right. You are here in 2020 CF 8573AO. It's possession of heroin, destruction of evidence, tampering with physical evidence, possession of drug paraphernalia, possession of cannabis less than 20 grams, and possession of alprazolam. And I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. So I'm gonna stay the bonds at 1,000 and 150, 150, 100, 100, and 150. Actually, I'm sorry. I'm gonna ROR on count 5. So it'll be 1,000, 150, 150, 100, ROR, and 150. All right, thank you. All right, tell me your name, please.
Jonathan Spurlock.
All right, Mr. Spurlock, you're here in 2019 CF 2706. You were arrested for failing to appear for trial on September 9th, 2019. The judge did revoke your release, but give you a bond of $10,000. Does he have an attorney?
No.
You should, because it was set for trial, so unless you were representing yourself.
I had a public defender. I don't know her name.
Okay, so the PD's office was previously appointed. So if you cannot make the $10,000 bond, you're gonna have to contact the PD's office. They're giving you a piece of paper, and they can file a motion to reduce the bond for you.
Mhm.
But you do have a bond, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, please tell me your name.
Stephen Stone.
All right, Mr. Stone, you're here in 2020 CF 4035AO. This was a capias. The state did file an information charging you with burglary of a dwelling, and a judge did find probable cause for that offense. So I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You cannot return back to the victim's residence, nor may you have any contact with any victim or witness as listed in the information. And the bond stays at the $2,500. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
Richard Williams.
Mr. Williams, you're here in 2020 CF 8576AO, charged with petty theft, and also with petty theft as a third subsequent offense, which is petty theft to priors. And there was a bond correction sheet as to count 2, based on the fact that it's a felony. So what I'm gonna do is, you are not to return back to Publix at 440 North Orlando Avenue. No contact with any victims or witnesses in the case. I'm staying the bonds at 500 and 1,000 on count 2. All right, thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. Are you Kenneth Wright?
I am, thank you.
All right. Mr. Wright, you're here in 2020 CF 8478AO. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant in which probable cause was previously found for 3 counts of aggravated stalking a child under 16 years of age, 2 counts of contributing to the delinquency of a minor. And I am going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you in your case. Before I impose any bond,
Yes.
you're not to have any contact with any minor child under the age of 18.
Yes, I
You're
don't
also
understand.
not
Okay,
to
fine.
you're not to go where any minor children congregate. You're not to return back to the Starbucks at 400 South Park Avenue in Winter Park, nor are you to return to the Panera Bread at 329 North Park Avenue.
Okay. What was the first one, Your Honor? I'm sorry.
Starbucks in Winter Park at 400 South
Fine,
Park
fine.
Avenue.
I'm sorry, thank you. Your Honor, I don't know any minors under 18, so I'm sorry, the charge confuses me a bit, but I'm sorry.
Okay.
Mr.
Well,
Wright.
You can call the public defender and they can talk to you about the facts as alleged in the arrest warrant.
Yes.
You're to have no contact with any victim or witness, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription,
No problem.
and no weapons or firearms
No.
or any ammunition. The bonds are gonna stay as set in the warrant at 5,000 on counts 1, 2, and 3, and 500 on counts 4 and 5. You're also out on release in 2020 MM 1947AO. I am gonna revoke the release and set that bond at none at this time. You're gonna have to get with Mr. Pius, as he represents you in that case, and he's gonna have to file a bond motion for you, okay?
Okay. Thank you very much, Your Honor.
All right, good luck, sir.
Thank you again.
All right, please tell me your name.
Ashley Stunich.
All right, Ms. Dunich, you're here in looks like 13 CF 7864. It's an on-view violation of probation based on the new law arrests in 2020 MM 5180. So I find probable cause for that. And I'll appoint the public defender. And the bond will stay set at none on the VOP. You'll see Judge Whitehead in a couple days for your arraignment. 2020 MM 5180. It's a petty theft. I find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. You cannot return back to Walmart at 11250 East Colonial Drive. no contact with any victims or witnesses, and the bond will stay set at 500. Okay, thank you. All right, please tell me your name.
Dana, Michael Wainwright.
Okay, I had Jennifer Tejada, but I feel like I know that name.
That's the one that we did this morning. Alexis Carter.
Oh, okay. Okay, yes. I'm like, I know the name. All right, so we already addressed this. So I stayed the bonds and Mr. Carter was here representing her. Okay, and you said Wainwright? Yes, ma'am. No? Dana Wainwright, yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. All right, you're here in 2019 CF 17371, and this is a violation of probation warrant. And the judge did set your bond at none, and I'm gonna appoint the public defender to represent you. You'll see Judge Whitehead in a couple days for an arraignment. In the meantime, the public defender can file any motions to set bond for you as well, okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Benjamin Randolph Barbary.
All right, Mr. Barbary, this is a Brevard County warrant, and the judge in Brevard did set your bond at none. And so I'm going to appoint the public defender here. That's what we're doing for out-of-county cases. And so what's going to happen next is that one of the judges here will contact the judge in Brevard County to see if they'll give you a bond or some other release. And if not, then we'll bring you back in a couple days anyway to let you know what we hear from them. But the public defender can always file a bond motion for you as well, okay?
They're
And
not-
that would be heard here.
Okay, are they not transporting, ma'am?
No, not during the pandemic,
Okay, thank you.
okay? So you'll see us back probably in about a week, I would say, maybe less than,
All right, thank you.
All right. All right, tell me your name, please.
Zachary Ward Cronin.
All right, Mr. Cronin, you're here on a Seminole County warrant, and the bond in Seminole County is set at $2,000. So if you're able to bond out, you can bond out. Do you think you're going to be able to bond out?
I have a question if it's all right real quick.
I don't know anything about your case, so I don't know if I can answer it, but
I understand. I had called a bondsman last night, and my last case for Seminole County was closed when I left Department of Corrections. So I don't understand why there's a warrant out if I don't have an open case.
I don't know, and I can't tell you. All I know is that it's showed as an active warrant.
Did it say
and
the
that's
date
why
of the
you were
offense?
arrested. I have no information. So, I'm gonna appoint the public defender here. You can call the phone number on there, and maybe they can reach out to Seminole County and see if you have an active case. It's for, all I can see is that it's a felony theft.
Yeah, I understand. I haven't been even in Seminole County in 10 years, so I don't.
Right, well.
Is there any way the bondsman said for some reason I was a flight risk, but I've never had an FTA. Is there any way you can mark down that a flight risk so I can pay the cheaper bond?
I can't change anything about what the bondsman's gonna think, so there's nothing I can do. So what we're gonna do is, if you can't bond out, obviously we're gonna contact Seminole County and see if they'll reduce that bond or release you in some other manner. But that will probably be in a couple days or so that you would come back on the docket. But we appointed the public defender, so if you need legal advice or you need anybody to do anything for you, then you can contact them as well, okay?
Thank you.
All right. All right, please tell me your name.
Joshua Rentis.
All right, Mr. Rentis, you're here for a Brevard County case, and the judge in Brevard set your bond at none. It's for a violation of probation, that's all I know. And so I'm gonna appoint the public defender here to represent you. And one of the judges here will contact the judge in Brevard County to see if they'll give you a bond. If not, then you'll come back. We'll let you know what is gonna happen with that. And then the PD can file any motions to set bond for you as well, okay?
Okay.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, please tell me your name.
Clarence Spencer Jr.
All right, Mr. Spencer, you're here in, looks like 2 Seminole County cases, one of which your bond set at none, and then the other is a $5,000 bond. So you can bond out of with the $5,000 one, but you can't bond out with no bond on the other one. So I'm gonna appoint the public defender on both of the cases for you. And I don't know if you heard what I told everybody else, but we'll contact the judge in Seminole County, see if they'll give you a bond. If they agree to that or they don't agree to that, we will bring you back and let you know what they say. And in the meantime, the public defender can file any motions to set or modify the bonds for you in those cases here, okay?
Yes, ma'am. I have a question.
Sure.
Is there any chance that I can get R&R because my wife, she's 8 and a
I
half.
can't, sir, I don't have any authority to change or modify the Seminole bonds unless they give us permission to do that, and that's why we're going to contact them. But the public defender's been appointed, so you can contact them. They can file a bond motion for you and see if the judge here would release you. But I can't do that today, okay? All right. Okay. Anything else? Nope, I'm missing. Oh,
You had Wilkerson earlier.
I had,
We had
I have no idea.
Lionel Wilkerson. We took no action on his out on PTR. The officer just emailed me and said that he hadn't been making his phone call and they needed an alternate address. I didn't know if you could put that on the record just to give pretrial another alternate address.
Okay, so do we have a case number?
No, Your Honor. It's very, very low.
That's maxed out. I don't know how to adjust it. I don't know if you have someone at that end that can adjust.
Adjusted because ours is maxed.
Our end is, as far as I can tell, is maxed out.
Okay, our volume is at the highest it can go as well. We can hear you a little bit. How are you able to hear me?
I'm able to hear you. It's not great, but I'll try to speak up and you try to speak up as well.
You can also use the speakerphone on the landline if that might help.
Well, you can call in. I can put you on speaker here. You want to try that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, can you hear me? Yep. Can you hear me?
That's not
Oh.
much better either. Can you say
I'm-
something again?
Yeah, I'm not able to get this to go to speaker here.
Oh, it's
No, push that. Well, there it goes. Can you hear that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I just leave it down just to avoid it. Okay. I'm gonna call the interpreter. We'll try to start with the interpreter cases.
Your Honor, can we start with Jose Matos first?
All right.
Morning, Your Honor.
Morning. State your name, please.
Jose A. Matos.
All right, Mr. Matos, you've been arrested on charges of battery and aggravated assault. Your bond is presently set at 0. I'm going to be setting release conditions. Is there any prior history that the pretrial release is aware of?
His most recent conviction was a DWI back in 2000. Other than that, he doesn't have anything since 1981.
All right. Mr. Matos, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $500. It will be conditioned upon supervision by pretrial release if you do post bond.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
It will be further conditioned upon you not having any contact, directly or indirectly, with Adonis Velasquez or with Luana Velasquez. And you will not return to the area of 171 Toluca Drive in Kissimmee while on pretrial release. You will not possess any weapons or firearms. The public defender's office is appointed to represent you.
Judge, it's 2 counts, so it's.
I'm sorry?
It's
That's
2
going to be as to each count.
Okay.
So it's $500 as to each count with the pretrial release.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. All right. Antonio Jimenez. I'm sorry?
Did you call the interpreter?
Oh, I need, yes, thank you. Just one moment. All right.
Good morning, Your Honor. Alan Figueroa, back on the line.
Okay, Mr. Figueroa, we're now doing Osceola. And the first case we're addressing is, I don't have a case number on it. So it doesn't have a case number yet. It's Antonio Jimenez. Mr. Jimenez, if you'll state your name, please.
Señor Jiménez, diga su nombre, por favor.
We're having a hard time hearing the interpreter.
Señor Jiménez, diga su nombre, por favor.
Antonio José Jiménez.
Antonio José Jiménez.
Jiménez, sí.
Mr. Jimenez, you arrested for fleeing or attempting to elude a law enforcement officer.
Señor Jiménez, usted fue arrestado por tratar de evadir o eludir a un oficial de la ley.
Your bond was set at 0.
No se había fijado fianza.
I see he does meet criteria for PTR. What prior history do we have, if any, on Mr. Jimenez?
He has no priors.
El señor Jiménez no tiene antecedentes y reúne los requisitos para la libertad provisional.
Disculpe que no la escuché.
Reúne los requisitos para la libertad provisional y no tiene antecedentes.
I'm going to set bond in the amount of $2,000.
Se fijará la fianza en $2,000
The public defender's office is appointed to represent you.
y se le designará defensor público para que lo represente.
Since he has no history, doesn't qualify for
Disculpa,
PTR, would the court
¿cómo se paga?
consider straight PTR?
Not on fleeing or attempting to elude.
And how do I pay for the bonds?
That's up to you. That's between you and the bondsman.
Eso lo decide usted, entre usted y el fiancista.
¿Cómo?
If you have questions about how to go about doing that, I'm sure the jail staff can assist you.
Si tiene preguntas sobre cómo hacer el pago, el personal de la cárcel le puede explicar.
Ok. Y una pregunta. ¿Cuándo salgo?
I have a question. When will I be getting out?
As soon as you post the bond, you'll be eligible to be released.
En cuanto deposite la fianza, usted podrá quedar en libertad o salir de la cárcel.
And I can't tell you how long it will take the jail to process the bond and process you out.
Yo
No puedo decirle
si la pago,
exactamente cuánto
salgo.
tiempo no puedo decirle exactamente cuánto tiempo se tardará la cárcel en procesar la fianza y el papeleo.
No, sano. Si yo pago hoy, ¿cuándo salgo?
So, if I were to pay today, when will I get out?
You should get out today.
Debería ser hoy.
Okay.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Jose Salinas Calderon.
He's approaching.
State your name, please.
Su nombre, por favor. José Mario Salinas Calderón.
Mr. Salinas Calderon, you were arrested for driving while under the influence.
Señor, usted fue arrestado por conducir bajo los efectos.
Sí. You have a bond of $500.
Se fijó la fianza en $500.
The public defender's office is appointed to represent you.
Se le ha designado defensor público para que lo represente.
Perdón, no escuché.
Se le ha designado el defensor público para que lo represente.
Okay.
Okay, the information sheet indicates that Mr. Salinas Calderon is on probation.
La documentación me indica que el señor Calderón se encuentra en libertad vigilada.
Sí.
That's correct, Your
Yes.
Honor. It's state probation on a Seminole County case.
Sí, su señoría, es por un caso del condado Seminole.
If he's on state probation, this arrest would violate the probation, so I'll order he be held without bond on the violation of probation.
Ya que este arresto conllevaría un incumplimiento de la libertad vigilada, no emitiré ninguna fianza con respecto al incumplimiento de libertad vigilada.
No le escucho bien.
No se emitirá fianza por el incumplimiento de libertad vigilada.
Do you have the Seminole County case number?
Yes, Your Honor. That case number is 17 CF 1728, and the charge is unlawful use of a two-way communication device.
Sí, el número de casos del condado Seminole es el 17CF1728 y es por uso ilegal de un dispositivo de comunicación de 2 vías.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Do we have anyone else who requires the Spanish language interpreter? If so, please come forward.
There's nobody else, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Figueroa.
Not a problem, Your Honor. Have a good rest of your weekend.
You too. All right, Carlos Barros.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. State your name, sir.
Yes. Carlos Barber.
Okay, Mr. Barros, you were arrested on a charge of battery. Your bond was set at 0. You live in Massachusetts?
Yes, I just come to vacation, me and my wife and my kids.
All right.
They just a misunderstanding. She dreamed you.
Mr. Barros, I'm going to set bond in your case in the amount, do you have any prior history, first of all?
He has no Florida priors. He does have multiple priors out of the state of Massachusetts from 2011 to 2019. I do not have any dispositions on him. He does have prior domestic arrest and a few firearm possession charges.
All right, and the victim has requested contact?
Yes, Your Honor.
And she's in custody as well?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Barros, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $500.
Thank you.
It will be conditioned upon you having no hostile contact with Jessica Morales. It will also be conditioned upon you not possessing or consuming alcoholic beverages or controlled substance without a valid prescription. The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you, sir. Thank you. All right, Luis Brito Rosario. Oh, he bonded out, looks like.
You bonded? Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Jose Cortez.
He's approaching.
Good morning. State your name, please.
Jose Cortez.
Mr. Cortez, you were arrested on a warrant or capias for failure to appear for pretrial in case 20 CF 36. This was on charges of carrying a concealed weapon by a convicted felon, possession of an anti-shoplifting or inventory control device countermeasure, and petty theft of $100 or more. Your bond is $5,000 each on the first two counts and $500 on the third count. The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you, sir. Thank you. Moises Cuevas. State your name, please.
Moises Cuevas.
Okay, Ms. Cuevas, you arrested for violation of a domestic violence injunction. Your bond is presently set at 0 on that charge. You were also arrested for possession of a controlled substance without a valid prescription. Your bond is $2,500 as to that charge. There appears to be a witness here at this end, so ma'am, if you'll please raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is your name?
Moises
Suliani
Cuevas.
Bonilla.
I'm sorry, I'm talking to the witness here, Mr. Cuevas. We're speaking to a witness here, so thank you. I'm sorry, state your name again, please.
Suliani Bonilla.
Okay. Ms. Bonilla, you are listed as the victim of the injunction, the petitioner in the injunction that was allegedly violated. The court is considering conditions of release. Is there any input you wish to provide? Do you want to have contact with them at this time or not?
Yes.
You do. Well, you cannot have contact with them while this injunction is in place. You understand that?
Correct.
So are you going to go to the judge that issued the injunction and ask that it be dismissed, or what are your plans?
Yes, I want to ask for it to be dismissed. At this point, my husband has drug abuse issues, and ever since the COVID started, he started taking medication, and I just need him to get help as soon as possible.
Okay. Well, you can talk to the judge or apply to the judge that issued the injunction and, again, request that it be dismissed. That's your decision to make. And it'll be the judge's decision as to whether or not the injunction is dissolved or dismissed. Until that happens, you cannot have contact with Mr. Cuevas. If he has contact with you again, he'd be back in jail with no bond. You understand?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Any other prior history from Mr. Cuevas?
He has no prior batteries. The most recent is a 2011 drug charges. However,
Okay.
he has no convictions.
Very well. Mr. Cuevas, I'm going to set bond on the violation of injunction in the amount of $500. I'm going to reduce the bond on the possession of controlled substance to $1,000. So your total bond is $1,500. The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you in both of your cases. Now, as I explained to Ms. Bonilla, while that injunction remains in place, even if she wants to have contact with you, you cannot have contact with her. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right.
Judge, for clarification purposes, is the no contact abide by injunction or no contact specifically as to this case? So should
I didn't order no contact.
Okay, so you're just leaving it with the injunction?
Leaving it as is.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
So just comply by the
I'm sorry?
comply with the condition of the injunction?
I'm just setting a bond of $500 with no other conditions.
You were just letting them know.
They not violate the law. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. I received a call earlier by an officer asking me if I permit him to have contact with our 3 kids. Would that be granted? I have a daughter who's autistic.
Again, you cannot have contact directly or indirectly. You can have contact through his attorney. Is the only contact that would be allowed.
Not me, but the kids. I'm asking about our 3
I
kids.
understand what you're asking. What I'm saying is you cannot have contact to coordinate visitation with Mr. Cuevas unless it's allowed under the injunction. I don't know what the terms of the injunction are. Okay. But right now, no contact means no contact.
Got it.
You could have contact through his attorney, but no other means
Contact whatsoever.
at this time that I'm aware of. If the injunction allows you to have him to have contact with you regarding the children, that's
understood.
That's up to you. The only conditions I'm putting is the monetary bond at this time. But again, if you have questions, you might want to consult with an attorney or talk to the try to talk to the court that issued the injunction.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Mr. Cuevas. All right, Tyrone Bolden, also known as John Doe 3118.
Is that B-O-L-D-E-N, Bolden, Judge?
Sorry?
B-O-L-D-E-N?
Yes. State your name, please.
Tyrone Bolden.
All right, Mr. Bolden, you arrested for burglary of a structure with an assault or a battery therein, burglary of an occupied structure, and resisting an officer without violence. Your bond is presently set at 0. Do we have any prior history on Mr. Bolden?
Yes, Your Honor, he had a battery in 2017, which was violation of domestic abuse followed, also trust, and June of this year, battery was imposed on June 19th this year.
Okay. Based on the facts in this case, I'm going to set bond on the first count in the amount of $3,500, $1,000 for the second count, and $500 for the third count. The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you, Mr. Bolden. Thank you.
Judge, just one question / clarification. As to count 2, the Berg structure, is PC being found based off the entering of a separate room within?
It's actually seems to be, yeah, I guess it could be the bathroom of the...
Because I was going to make a PC argument, but that was my...
Fair enough. Noel Estrada del Valle. Tell us your name, please.
Noel Estrada del Valle.
Mr. Estrada del Valle, you were arrested on a charge of aggravated assault with a firearm. The bond was set at 0. I don't see this as a domestic case.
That's correct.
So,
That's correct, Your Honor. It's not domestic.
do we have any prior history on Mr. Estrada del Valle?
He has no convictions.
All right. Mr. Estrada del Valle, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $2,500. That bond will be conditioned upon you not possessing any weapons or firearms of any kind. You will not have contact directly or indirectly with Noel Estrada. The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Thank you, sir. Willis Gilliam. State your name, sir.
Willis Gillum.
Ms. Gillum, you're arrested on a charge of trespass in an occupied structure. I'm going to release you on pretrial release in this case. It is a condition of your pretrial release that you not return to the Wawa store at 4397 West Vine Street in Kissimmee. The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. So can you stay away from the Wawa?
Stay away from Wawa.
Okay, fair enough. Kevin Guglielmini. State your name, please.
Kevin Guglielmini.
All right, Mr. Guglielmini, you arrested on a warrant for battery, a domestic battery by strangulation and theft of more than $100. Your bond is presently set at $0. You're also arrested for possession of methamphetamine and possession of drug paraphernalia. Your bond is $1,000 on the methamphetamine, $500 on the paraphernalia. Do we have prior history on Mr. Guglielmini?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. He has multiple priors dating back to 2002. The most recent 2015 conviction as well as 2017 conviction of grand theft, fraud.
Okay. Mr. Guglielmini, I'm going to set bond on the domestic battery by strangulation in the amount of $2,500. It will be conditioned upon you having no contact directly or indirectly with the named victim or returning to within 1,000 feet of the residence of the named victim. If you were residing there, you may return on one occasion accompanied by a law enforcement officer to retrieve any clothing or personal possessions you may have at that address. The bond will be set on the petty theft charge, the amount of $500. It will remain in the amount set in the other case at $1,000 and $500 respectively. The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you in both your cases. Thank you. Abdel Malik Maklouf. Okay, we have a witness here. State your name, please.
Abdel Malik Maklouf.
Mr. Maklouf, you were arrested on a charge of battery. Your bond was set at $0. We have a witness here, so if you'll please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. If you could try to speak up as best you can.
Yes.
Okay. Please tell, you can put your hand down.
Huh?
You can put your hand down.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Please tell us your name.
Soraya Bukwan.
Okay. Ms. Is it Bouquin?
Soraya
Right.
Bukwan.
Bouquin?
Bukwan.
Okay, Bouquin. Ms. Bouquin, you are named as the victim in this case, so I am going to be considering conditions of release. I'm interested in information you may have. The first question I have is, do you want to have contact with Mr. Maklouf while this case is pending?
Yes.
Are you afraid of Mr. Maklouf?
No.
If anything were to happen like this in the future, would you hesitate to contact law enforcement?
No.
Okay. Any other questions from either side?
Do you want him to return home?
Yes.
Nothing further, Judge.
No, Your Honor.
All right. And do we have any prior history on Mr. McLuth?
No, Your Honor. He has no prior.
All right. Well, based on the testimony of Ms. Buquane, this, of course, doesn't qualify for direct pretrial release, so I will set bond in the amount of $100. Will be conditioned upon supervision by pretrial release. Mr. McLuth, if you do post bond, you will not have any hostile contact with Soraya Buquane. All right. The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Thank you. Thank you.
When I can pay the bond?
As soon as the paperwork is completed here, it should be, by the time you got to a bondsman,
It will be there in Osceola, right?
right.
You can do it either.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Jessica Morales.
Your Honor, can we call her toward the end?
All right. Luke Pierre.
I do have a probable cause argument on this, Judge, if you're inclined to find PC as to count one.
State your name, please.
Luke Pierre.
All right, Ms. Pierre, you arrested for grand theft of a firearm and carrying a concealed firearm. Your bond at this time is $2,500 on the grand theft, $1,000 for the carrying a concealed firearm. The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Ms. Smith has argument on the probable cause, so you may proceed, Ms. Smith.
Yes, Judge, as to count one, while I understand the firearm was indicated as being revealed as stolen, per the police report, Mr. Pierre indicated he bought the firearm from another individual. So defense would argue that there's no PC as to the grand theft in terms of him being the person who actually stole or stole the firearm.
All right, State, did you wish to be here?
Adam Dew for the state. The state will request 24 hours to see if there's any additional information from the police department.
Okay, well, it would be relevant as to when the firearm was stolen. If it was 2 years ago, that would definitely have a bearing on probable cause this time. Mr. Luke, I'm going to leave your bonds as set at this time, and I'll reserve finding of probable cause. Well, I'll find no probable cause as to grand theft count at this time. I do find probable cause as to carrying concealed firearm, and the state has 24 hours to produce additional or supplemental affidavits with respect to the grand theft of the firearm. And I say 24 hours, it won't be exactly 24 hours. I'll reset it for further determination at initial appearances tomorrow at 1:00 p.m. Now it appears he's also out on bond.
Your Honor,
Yes.
Your Honor, that's incorrect. He had a failure here for a violation of probation agreement in March. However, in June, he was terminated and
Okay.
sent to election court.
That's fine. Thank you. You have a bond, Mr. Luke, or Pierre? You have a bond right now of $3,500. If you're still in jail tomorrow, we'll see you again tomorrow. That bond could be reduced if there's no finding of probable cause as to the first count. It could be reduced to $1,000. But you can post bond now if you want, if you pay the full $3,500.
In the case you add on, you're taking no action.
And I'm taking no action on the misdemeanor. All right, thank you. Excuse with that. Carmen Ramos Rivera.
Your Honor, if we can call her at the end as well.
All right. Roger Reisman.
He's not available, he's in medical, and I don't know if I'm not sure when he would become available, and I'm not sure if the public defender wants to wait his appearance.
if the court will set, since he's zero bonded until IAs, I can waive his appearance for purposes of bond.
Okay. His bond is set at $500 on the battery and $250 on the assault.
Okay. Well, I guess if we can reset it,
Your Honor,
since he does have.
does
I'm sorry.
qualify for direct PCR.
Okay, well, I'm not going to do that without seeing him, so.
So if we can reset him to see if he would,
Sorry.
if we can reset him for the court to consider direct PTR once he's available.
All right, he's probably, I'll reset him for Tuesday for IAs, and maybe there'll be an update on where he stands as far as the medical situation. All right, Jamie Resto Rosado. State your name, sir.
Yeah, Jamie Jesus Restos Asado.
Okay, Mr. Resto Rosado, you arrested on a charge of battery. Your bond is set at $0. Do we have any prior history on Mr. Resto?
No, Your Honor, he has no priors.
All right. Mr. Resto, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $100. The bond will be conditioned upon supervision by pretrial release. If you do post bond until further order of this court, you cannot have contact directly or indirectly with Omalis Resto, and you will have to find another place to stay, at least on a temporary basis. You will not return to the residence at 2414 Franklin Drive in Kissimmee. You may do so on one occasion accompanied by a law enforcement officer to pick up clothing or personal possessions you need from the residence. The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. The conditions of release can be modified, and you may later be allowed to return. You may be later allowed to have contact, but until the court modifies those conditions, you cannot have contact, even if Ms. Resto wants to have contact. Otherwise, you could wind up in jail with no bond until the case is resolved. So if you want to have contact, get in touch with your public defender as soon as possible, and he or she can schedule a hearing before the judge will be handling your case.
I got a quick question to ask. I got a business I'm running, and I just opened a bank account, so I'm going to check it for because it wants me to arrive into the house, and I need to have that my last week so I can pay my insurance and pay my bills as I go.
I couldn't hear him.
A check, something about opening a new checking
Okay,
account,
well,
check going into it to pay the bond or the attorney.
I mean, since the office can't get in contact with the system, should we pick it up?
I'm having a very hard time hearing you. You can contact another person. You can contact a third person to go pick up possessions for you if that's agreeable with Ms. Resto. Or you can go back to the residence one time with a law enforcement officer, and pretrial release will explain to you how to do that. And while you're there with the law enforcement officer, you can pick up your check or whatever else you may need.
Yeah, it's just I haven't arrived and we're waiting for it, so I really need it. All right, then. I'll talk to our sister.
All right, thank you.
Have a good day.
David Shoemaker.
Hello, Your Honor.
State your name, sir.
My name's David Shoemaker.
Ms. Shoemaker, you arrested on a charge of battery. Your bond was set at $0. Do we have any prior history on Mr. Shoemaker?
He has a couple of lines way back in
1986 and one in 1991.
He was only
convicted of the one in 1986.
Okay. All right, Mr. Shoemaker, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $100. It will be conditioned upon supervision by pretrial release. If you post bond until further order of this court, you are not to have contact directly or indirectly with Whitney Shoemaker. You will not return to the residence. You're going to have to find another place to stay, at least on a temporary basis. You are not allowed to return to the residence at 231 Massachusetts Avenue in St. Cloud. You may do so one time, accompanied by a law enforcement officer to pick up clothing or personal possessions you may need from that residence. You will not possess or consume any alcoholic beverages or any controlled substance without a valid prescription. The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. These conditions can be modified, and they frequently are, as the case progresses, but until or unless they are modified by the court, you cannot violate the conditions, or you'll wind up in jail with no bond. Thank you, sir.
Sir, I've been married to my wife for 21 years. I would never, ever intentionally do anything to harm her.
Well,
All I have is
I'm
her
not,
and our dog.
I'm not saying that you would, but at this time, based on the allegations, I'm ordering no contact. Again, that can be changed. You need to talk to your attorney about that.
Sir, I also have a job with responsibilities, and I haven't been able to make a phone call, and my phone's at home, and I need to contact my employer if I'm not going to be able to go to work. Right
Okay,
now, my
well,
wife's not working for the past 4 months.
that's fine.
My work supplies insurance and all that for a house. And my work even rents after that. I rely on my wife to help me.
Sir, I'm not going to change the conditions of your release. I will ask the jail staff to assist you with access to a phone. Pretrial release may also be able to assist you in making a call, or your attorney may, but the conditions of release are what the conditions of release have just been, or as announced. Thank you.
We'll talk to you about that.
Carl Schubert. State your name, please.
Carl Stewart.
Ms. Schubert, you were arrested on 2 counts of battery and 1 count of aggravated assault. Your bond is set at 0 at this time. And do we have any prior history on Mr. Schubert?
He does have multiple priors dating back to 2001. The most recent was August 2019 trespass conviction.
Okay, and both victims have been contacted and request contact. Is that what you're?
Yes, Your Honor. It appears that there may be some mental health issues with this, and the mother is the caretaker.
All right. Mr. Schubert, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $100 on each of the battery charges, $1,000 on the aggravated assault charge. The bond will be conditioned upon you not having any hostile contact with Joseph St. Hubert or with Rosita St. Hubert. This will be pretrial, supervised by pretrial release, and the court will recommend mental health conditions on the pretrial release. You will not possess any weapons or firearms. The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Thank you. All right, Adonis Velasquez. What is your name?
Adonis Velasquez.
Mr. Velasquez, you arrested on a charge of battery. Your bond was set at 0. Any prior history on Mr. Velasquez?
No, Your Honor, no prior.
Okay. Mr. Velazquez, the charge of domestic violence battery doesn't qualify for direct pretrial release, so I'll set bond in the amount of $100. It will be conditioned upon supervision by pretrial release. And despite their request, I'm going to order that you not have contact directly or indirectly with Jose Matos Jr. or with Carmen Ramos. There won't be any other conditions placed on that. The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Thank you. Joshua Wright. All right. State your name, please.
Joshua Wright.
Okay, Mr. Wright, you arrested on a charge of battery. Your bond was set at 0. We have a witness here or someone who wants to provide some input. So, ma'am, if you'll please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
And what is your name?
Amanda Wright.
Okay, Ms. Wright, you are listed as the named victim in this case, and I am interested in input you may wish to provide. The first question I have is, do you want to have contact with Mr. Wright at this time?
No.
Okay. All right, well, that's essentially the issue. Any prior history on Mr. Wright?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Wright, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $500. It will be conditioned upon supervision by pretrial release. If you post bond, you will not have any contact directly or indirectly with Amanda Wright pending further order of the court. You will not return to the area of 72 Andorra Court while on pretrial release. You may do so on one occasion, accompanied by a law enforcement officer to pick up clothing or personal possessions you may need from that residence. So, Ms. Wright, he is not to have any contact with you. If he attempts to have contact, just notify law enforcement. They will be aware of the no contact order. He is allowed to come back on one time with law enforcement to pick up clothing or personal possessions. Mr. Wright, the Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you, sir. Thank you.
And Your Honor, they are going to be bringing those emails in just a moment.
All right. We'll take a brief recess while they're doing that. I'm going to step out for just a moment. Do we have Jessica Morales present?
In one moment, Your Honor. My apologies.
Okay, I'm sorry, I thought.
Your Honor, they're ready.
All right, Jessica Morales? All right, good morning. State your name, please. What is your name?
Jessica Morales.
Ms. Morales, you were arrested on a charge of battery. Your bond was set at 0. Does she have any prior history?
She does have 12 out of the state of Massachusetts between years 2004 to 2015. Unknown dispositions of those.
All right. Ms. Morales, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $500. Your bond is conditioned upon you not having any hostile contact with Carlos Barros. The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you in this case. Thank you. Carmen Ramos Rivera. Morning, tell us your name.
Good morning, my name is Carmen Ramos Rivera.
Ms. Ramos Rivera, you were arrested on a charge of battery, 2 counts. Your bond was set at 0. Does Ms. Ramos Rivera have any significant prior history?
She has 2 counts of battery back in 2015. Both of them were no info.
All right. Ms. Ramos Rivera, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $100 in your case.
Per count or total, Judge?
Per count. That will be conditioned upon supervision by pretrial release. If you do post bond, you will not have contact directly or indirectly with Adonis Velasquez or with Luana Velasquez, and you will not return to the area of 171 Toluca Drive in Kissimmee. The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Thank you.
Judge, I am the one who takes care of my mother-in-law. I take her to her doctor's appointments. I take her, she's going to have surgery this week.
You can talk to your lawyer about that. Right now, the order is what it is. Thank you. Thank you. All right, I think that's all we have for Osceola.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you.